Is this thing on?
Welcome back to another episode of Spooled Life Live. I'm your host, Ram Garcia, and we are in the beautiful Roy's Bait and Tackle studio here in Corpus Christi, Texas. And I'm going to tell y'all one thing, guys. It is super windy out there. If you're setting up for Easter, right, you got that Theo, or uncle, right? He's the cool one, and he's already hiding those eggs. He's putting the piñata rope up. You probably don't even have no trees or nothing at the house, but you're setting it up on top of the roof, just in case you have a cool cousin or something that wants to jump on the roof and hold the rope up there for all the kids and stuff. When you wake up tomorrow morning or Sunday, it is, right? Y'all are gonna have the eggs all up against the fence, right? So make sure that you're putting those eggs somewhere that where the wind won't take them because, dude, it is super windy out there. Hoover's in the house, Alvarado, Jen Vino, my man Lozano, Rudy Aranda is in the house. Guys, if y'all are visiting Corpus Christi, probably fishing or something, visiting family for the Easter weekend. Today's Good Friday. If you gave up some Cokes or energy drinks, I gave up Cokes. I gave up energy drinks as well. It's finally over. You could go to the Super S, go to the Eckards, go to the Winds, go to the
HEB.
HEB. Get you a 12-pack of those energy drinks. We
Yeah.
can't live without them, especially if you're a outdoorsman like ourselves, right? Or coffee, right? Hell of a job to whoever gave up something for the Lent, right? It's finally over. You did a great job. And let's drink to that.
Heck
Let's
yeah,
drink
man.
to everybody that gave up something for Lent, right? Cheers to you all. Oh, yeah. What are we drinking today? We're drinking Karbach Ranch Water, hard seltzer, original lime, right? 4.5% alcohol. What are you getting from that? What are you tasting there?
It's got a good, actually, compared to a lot of the ranch waters you get now, this actually has a pretty good lime flavor to it.
Right? It's a
Yeah.
little lime.
Doesn't taste
right?
too watery.
Yeah, a little lime to it. Let me
Not,
get another.
doesn't have that spice to it too
Oh,
much. It's
yeah.
actually pretty good.
When you're out in HEB getting those monsters, getting a big old thing of coffee or a 12-pack of Cokes, cruise down the beer aisle, Karbach Brewery, they got you set up.
They sell these in 6-packs, 12-packs.
I think they got them in the 12-pack of these.
All right.
If you just want the lime flavor, they do have an assorted 12-pack as well. Most of the time, if you're going to get the higher powered Karbachs, they're going to come like in a 6-pack or maybe even a 4-pack.
I know some
right?
of them have like 4.
But I believe these will come in a 12-pack, right? Let's give a shout out to the show sponsors, Roy's Bait and Tackle, of course, keeping us nice and fresh out of the elements, out of the sun, out of the wind, out of the rain, out of the
You pretty much named it all, man.
right
Out of the house.
out of the house, right? There you go. Sarge Custom Rods, AFTCO Sportswear, Marshwear Clothing, Down South Lures, Tow Corpus Christi. Man, I bet you they're busy
Brandon,
today.
you know Brandon's staying busy.
Oh,
today.
dude.
He's fighting the wind out there.
Guys, if you have a boat and you just have the most expensive boat and you got the most expensive motor and you just know everything, some of those guys that just know everything, right? It doesn't hurt to get Tow, man, even if you know everything.
I've used them probably twice this year, I think.
Right?
Yeah. And it's not even you don't have to be a bad driver to be using Seatalk.
Let's just say you
Stuff
didn't
breaks.
have him.
Right.
How much would you be spending?
It depends on how far you are, but I know it's up there.
It's a lot.
It's up there.
Right?
Thousands, depending on, like I said, where you're at and what your situation is.
Yeah, if you don't have Tow Corpus Christi, you could kiss Christmas gifts goodbye. Happy birthdays, out the door. Quinceañeras, see ya. See Tow Corpus Christi. It's worth every single penny.
It's done. What is it? I think the premium membership's $200 a year. You're
Right.
covered for the year.
It
So,
doesn't matter where you're at.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if he's busy or not. He's gonna come.
Yep.
Somebody is gonna get on the boat and get to. And don't think that okay, well, I'm an offshore guy. No, man, these dudes are super equipped. They have multiple boats to get you in any situation that you could put yourself in, right? It doesn't matter. When your dad used to tell you there's nothing you could do that I haven't done, it's for real, right? You could pretty much call Tow Corpus Christi your daddy, right? He's the
Get
daddy
you out of the bind.
of the water.
Yeah.
Of the
sure.
if you're in a bind, Tow Corpus
Not to
Christi.
mention he's going to show up with a full mullet flowing in the wind right now.
Oh, dude. You ever seen like a big Roy's bait and tackle in the house? Here to guys, if y'all are cruising in, the staff is here, ready to go, ready to help, ready to come on back here, Michelle. Come on back here. Say hi. Get close up. Get
Just
close
want
up.
to tell you hi. You're doing a good job.
All right. Come on in, guys, and give the Roy's bait and tackle staff. I got all nervous, man. Right? I never get nervous, and I got nervous.
Boss is here.
Right? I was like, man, I'm about to get fired, bro. And he's gonna show up. Tito's gonna show up like if he's Hercules.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? New canoe, kayaks, ready to put you on the fish of a lifetime. And man, dude, I know y'all have been waiting for the new canoe post, the water, right? Post. I might hold off a little bit because my guess is not a kayaker, right? You might have kayaked a few times in your lifetime,
Started there,
right?
but it's
But
been a
predominantly
while.
you're a boater, right?
Right.
So
nowadays,
I might do a little bit of the kayak mid show, um, the water episode, right? You know, we've been doing kind of breaking it down. We finally put this thing in the water a couple of weeks ago, and we're ready to do a review, right?
How far? Just like you said, it's been a long time since I've been in a kayak. But how far these things have come, and where I'm seeing guys in kayaks,
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
Within a couple years, several years, you went from which you could still get, right? You went from $100 to $300 kayak
Mm-hmm.
to about a $5,000 kayaks.
Oh yeah,
And it is ready to fish, right? You could put it in the water, but guys, come on. You're gonna want to upgrade this thing.
I've already spent this on.
Yeah, you're gonna want to put $100 seat cushion on there. And yeah. Guys, I got a hell of a show. Thank everybody for tuning in, first of all, right? Like in true Spooled Life Live fashion, we're gonna be giving away something, right? Austin Matthews is always winning. We need to make sure that Austin doesn't win today.
Heard about
right?
this guy.
Yeah, man. He's already raised ready. He's got his notepad down. He wants to win. This is gonna be the Easter swagger packer. So you know it's gonna be a good one, right? Take notes. Pay attention. Let's learn something today from my guest. All the way from
Right over the bridge.
right over the
Right
bridge.
here.
Today we
Yeah.
have none other. Personal friend of mine, Travis Thompson.
Yes.
Captain
Yes, sir.
Travis Thompson. Thank you so
Sir,
much,
I'm glad
man.
to be here, man. I'm glad to see how much you've grown in the past couple of
Dude.
years, man.
Oh, dude,
You
we
know,
went
it's been
from
awesome.
sweating every day
Oh,
to
yeah.
full-blown AC.
Oh
now.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
We don't
Hey,
even
you
get
got some good mics now.
Yeah,
the
we
little
got
blue,
mics.
the little blue eggs are
Yeah, I
going
think
out.
like I'm like at a Selena concert or something right here, man.
Yeah,
Like I'm straight up the Hanoville
man,
action.
You're doing it right, man.
here.
Like you said, we're out of the wind. We're at Roy's, drinking some cold beers.
Oh yeah. I
Enjoying
mean, it
it,
doesn't get
man.
better than this.
No,
I mean, we could be like at the VIP.
yeah. No, I'll take this.
Right.
I'll take this. This is fine. I get in trouble over there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, them days are over. Man, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, like I said, Captain Travis Thompson. I've been guiding for close to 10 years now, man. I got my license back in 2014 and did it part time for a long time, but now we're the last 2 years now. It's been, or sorry, a year now. It's been full time guide fishing and just loving every minute of it. Originally grew up right here in Callan, went to school in Callan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So, I mean, we moved down here when I was probably 4 or 5 years old. We're born in San Angelo up there, but the once we got down here, man, the salt water kind of just
What
took
year
over.
did you graduate, Kyle?
2010.
2010.
Yeah, I
Wow,
just got gray
dude.
hair. That's all. It's just
Yeah,
a little
dude. I
gray.
graduated 2001
Yeah, 2010.
in Robstown, though.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm
All
talking about?
right.
Yeah.
You were back in the good baseball
Yeah,
days.
dude. We were good. They're all small now,
Oh
man.
yeah. Yeah.
No offense. You know what I mean? I got me a Robstown cap, and
Mm.
I support. I send the dude coffee. Buy him a coffee and stuff to support the baseball team out there. But one thing I do notice is everybody that graduated with me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure there's more, but for what I notice is everybody went somewhere else.
Oh yeah.
Now they sent their kids
Well,
to Cal Allen,
yeah, they
TM.
prospect a little bit.
Yeah,
Who has the
that's
best football program? Who has the best this program?
yeah,
Stuff
I
like that.
get it, right? You want the best for your
We
kid,
had some
right?
of that going on whenever I was in school.
Yeah.
A little bit. There was a few certain other schools that were starting to get a little better, and then you know, one family member would take off. Hey, where'd your brother go? Oh, he's over there playing baseball, kind
Yeah,
of thing.
right.
Recruiting him over there.
Yeah,
But
he'll get more play time over
well, smaller
there.
schools get more view time. Blah blah blah. The whole
Yeah.
politics of the whole game. But
Yeah, there's a lot of politics that
yeah,
go
and
into
that's.
it.
I mean, I played all the sports and did all the stuff growing up. But I'll be honest with you, I was in a kayak every morning before school in the Oasis over there
Oh,
catching
really? Oh,
redfish.
yeah.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of my time out there doing that
That's a
stuff.
good area.
Yeah, man.
Dirty,
Yeah, muddy. It's
stinky,
muddy.
ugly mud.
It's muddy, but it was 5 minutes from school, so it was
Yeah.
close enough to
Man,
go
so
there.
you go to school just all burnt up,
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
yeah. I wore cowboy boots and board shorts 90% of the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, dude. So you were right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Was that Mexican restaurant right in front of the high school yet?
The Tapatio.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good stuff
Yeah,
right
it
there.
was, dude. They used to have the biggest breakfast
That's what I
tacos
was about
every
to
day.
say,
Big
man.
old tacos. Yeah.
We used to go there, me and a buddy of mine, and our first time we had no idea what to order, So I'm like, hey, what's good here? And, oh, where our tortillas are good. I'm like, hey, well, bring me this, bring me asada
Be
bean,
careful. Yeah. Yeah.
bacon, cheese, a little bit of carne guisada gravy on top.
Hmm.
Bring me one of those. Amazing, dude.
Yeah. This big. They're good.
I think the way Cal Allen has tapatio is Robstown's Barreras fried chicken.
Okay. All right.
I think
I was gonna go with the what's the milkshake and burger joint over there?
Dairy Queen.
No, the
Oh, rod and rolls.
rod and
Oh
rolls.
yeah,
There you go.
they're
There you go.
okay. They take a long time.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna be mad at me, but the milkshakes. I took my little girl there. She got all A's this past. Shout out to her. Let's drink to that. Let's
Heck
drink to
yeah.
getting all A's.
Absolutely.
Here's to her getting all A's. So I said, you know what? I got to get ready for. I think we're headed out of town to the Elite Series. I got to get ready, but I promise I'm going to take you to Five Below the weekend. But right now, we'll get a milkshake. Where do you want to go? Sonic? Always the fastest, right? Sonic's always faster. No, I want to go. I want to go to whatever it's called, Rod and Rolls. Oh, it's all right. So we went over there. I said, hey, y'all got any milkshakes? Yeah, we do. You want vanilla, banana, or chocolate? And I said, all right, well, give me the banana. And it came hot, man.
Really?
Like it was
Melted?
hot,
That's no good.
right?
Yeah.
Or I mean, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's supposed to be cold, right?
Frozen. Cold, cold.
Yeah, like
By the time it gets to the truck, it still needs to be,
yeah, exactly.
ready.
So my mom takes her, I think yesterday or something like that, and it was hot too.
Hmm.
So I don't know if these things are supposed to be like that.
Nah, I'm out on that. I
I
changed my
don't
mind.
know, man. But let's talk about something for real, bro.
What you got?
Right. So keep on going.
What you got?
Tell us a little. So you went to Cal Allen,
So yeah,
fishing every
went to
day,
Cal
the Back
Allen.
Bay.
Yeah, made it through that. Straight out of high school, went straight to work. Did the oil field thing like 90% of people
Right.
down here. Jumped in some kind of oil field career. Started doing some mechanicing. I was working for C&J at the time, so I grew
Man,
up.
so you didn't even go to Del Mar.
No, man, straight like I'm talking like 3 days after high school.
Everybody's got to go to the Harvard Center.
Oh yeah.
So you probably cruised around the
Oh
Harvard
yeah.
Center.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So while all my buddies were all going to college and stuff like that, I spent most of my time working, and
Yeah.
eventually made it back down here because once all that stuff kind of went to West Texas, I was kind of out on that. I wasn't much on that setup. So got down here, started working for Flint Hills, and I did some years at Flint Hills in operations, and that's whenever I got my guide's license. I started doing, pretty much all of my days off were were fishing, especially with clients, and uh, from there went straight to Valero. After that, they had a 4 on 4 off schedule, so it got to the point to where I was on every 4 off. I was fishing, and then it even got to the point where I was working nights. I was fishing with clients,
Oh
so
wow,
I'd work all night, maybe sleep all half the night, at work, and
man,
then
that's tough,
oh,
right?
it's tough, yeah. It's not easy, but I tried to make it to where I got to a point to where okay, one of them's going to take over, and I'm going to naturally let it take over,
Right.
but I'm not gonna put fishing off. If it comes, it comes. So I
Mhm.
did everything I could to make that work. And it finally got to a point to where I was comfortable enough to say, okay. And that's kind of where the Sandhill crane hunting stuff got in. And that's where
Yeah,
I needed something to do in the wintertime. So we kind of developed that. And it's actually blown out of the water for what I thought it was going to do.
the Sandhill
The
crane.
crane hunting.
That's what I've noticed,
Right.
right? I don't want to get into it right now. I want to get into it here in a bit,
Right. Right.
but so you're full blown guide service.
Right. Right. Yeah. And then, like I said, once sometime last year, we got into, I guess it was June of last year, whenever I actually left Valero. And I just,
That's
both
it.
feet jumped in. Let's go for it,
Yeah.
and knowing, we had a pretty good winter looking ahead of us. We had a bunch of stuff coming together. I was busy fishing, and said if there's any time, now's the time. So
So you're a
jumped
full
in.
blown captain,
Yep, that's it.
capital C,
That's all we do.
not a lowercase,
That's it.
right?
Yep.
How
Fishing.
much is a captain's trip
So
fishing?
nowadays, it used to, and it's gone up just like everything else. But right now, I'm at from 1 to 3 people, 750, and that's everything included. A lot of guys will they'll throw in some bait costs or whatever, and they'll.
Okay.
It depends on how you set it up. It's 750 from 1 to 3 people, and I do four people is pretty much as much as you want on a boat. You don't
Right.
really want to do five, but 4 people is 850.
You're not making these dudes get off the boat.
Oh, we'll wade fish. If you want to wade fish, we'll wade fish all
Okay.
day long.
But if you're gonna stay on the boat, four
Four
people.
four
If you
guys
want to
however
get
much
off
you
the
want.
boat,
If
then
you want to
okay.
wade fish, we're just taxiing wherever we're going. So we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
fit
yeah.
6 guys in there and roll out.
Yeah.
That's not a problem at all. But
This is bring your own equipment.
no, if wade fishing, I would say probably bring a lot of your own stuff just
Okay.
because we're in the water and
Right.
reels get dunked like
Yeah.
crazy. But I've provided some for clients for the
Yeah.
many
Nobody
times.
takes care of their stuff
Oh
unless it's
man,
your
I
own
can't tell
stuff.
you how many times I've had,
Right.
you preach, you give everybody the spiel, especially wade fishing, be careful about this, watch for this, hold your rod this way whenever you're landing a fish, give yourself enough slack to pull your rod up and the fish will come to you.
Yeah.
No, 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to have the end of that rod grabbing that fish.
Oh yeah.
That reel's 4
Yeah.
foot underwater.
Right.
So
Man, we're gonna talk about a safety towards the end of the show. But before I forget, because I'm going to be all over the place, bro.
sure.
I'm already done with one Karbach. You already know how I get.
It's hot
Have you ever
outside.
had one angler or a customer, should I say, step on a stingray?
Not on a stingray. No, I've had probably the worst thing I've had was
We're just going to jump in right to the action.
people like falling and stuff like that. That's kind of the biggest thing you got to worry about is getting people on and off the boat. It's
Oh, yeah.
really, if you got somebody who is needs help in whatever sort of way, I'll kind of position them on the boat to where they're right there in the middle where I can get to them
Yeah.
if they need it, and I'll kind of tend to them that way. But the biggest thing is that I've seen is, people falling, hitting stuff, going basically from boat to dog to boat, or
Oh,
even
okay.
just maneuvering around the boat. Because you got a redfish going around the boat. You're gonna try and stay in front of that fish and try and get around everybody and do all that
Yeah.
stuff, and it can get pretty hectic at some points. At some points, but I mean, actually, the worst thing I've ever had happen on a boat wasn't even an accident. These two guys got in a fist fight
Oh,
on
wow.
the front of the boat.
And they were two clients.
Yeah, father and son.
Who
Well,
won?
I don't even know. I was in the back of the boat grabbing bait, and I walk up there, and these guys are rolling
Did he take his
on the
belt off
deck.
or nothing?
No, no. And I said, "Hey, what are we doing?" And they're, "Oh no, we're good. We're good. We do this all the time."
Like a full
They
blown
just
fist fight.
they just shook it off. They were rolling on the front of the boat.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that. Yeah. You didn't
And
you didn't have the GoPro running or anything like that?
no, I wish I would have. I
Man,
wish I would have.
that's like the scariest part of wade fishing to me. Not so much the fist fight, right?
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Well, it depends on who you're fishing
It's
with.
just jumping off the boat,
Mhm.
not jumping, but from boat to water.
Right.
Because you never know.
Well,
Like you can't see
yeah.
unless you can, right?
Right.
But if you can't see and you're like, dude, okay, I'm like leaning off the boat and I still don't
just got to
feel the
jump in.
bottom. You
You
know
just
what
got
I
to jump in.
mean?
If that's your time, it's your time, bro.
Dude, that's gonna be a
If the
bad
biggest
day,
thing is just getting off
especially
the
if it's
boat.
cold.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
And you
yeah.
go past the waiters,
Oh yeah.
you're done.
I've had plenty of guys do that. I had a guy walk off the boat in like 8 foot of water in waders because we stopped up. We were slowing down to a spot, and I said, "We're gonna jump out here, like up here."
Yeah.
And this guy just bloop, jumps off the boat.
See ya. Will you drown if you're wearing
Absolutely.
waders?
Yeah,
You will.
absolutely.
They'll
Absolutely.
fill up with
Once they
water.
fill up with water, you're a drift sock at that point. You know,
Wow.
you gain probably at least another 50,
Because a
60
lot of
pounds.
people say you won't drown.
Mm. I mean, there's been
Like the
plenty of
water
instances.
will tighten up the wader. You will get some water
Right.
in there, but you
Depends.
won't full blown sink.
Right. It depends. I can see where that conversation starts, but if you're saying any kind of current where water's moving,
Oh yeah.
you can lean into that because that's
Yeah.
kind of what's happened with previous people here. You know, there's a guy that passed away, I believe, right here at the causeway, fell out of a kayak and had waders on, and
Oh.
that was it. You know, if that water can float
Doesn't matter
into
what
there,
kind of life jacket you got.
nah,
What do you do?
nothing. I mean, the best scenario you're gonna be able to do is cut yourself out of it somewhere or another.
Try to get out of
If
the
you can
wader.
calm yourself down enough to be able to say, all right, this is what I got to do,
Yeah.
and I only have, you know, depends on how good your
It's a
lungs are.
scary situation,
It's a
man.
bad situation to be in.
Yeah. The if you're in waders, it's already cold.
Hmm.
And if you man, I hope it never happened to y'all. If y'all have any stories like that, hopefully y'all share them. But or what you did to save yourself, right? Man, I don't know what the hell I would do. I've been in some pretty bad situations.
Hmm.
Hooks in my foot,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Out in the surf and stuff. But never a situation. I'm hardly ever in waders. There's gear, especially for the kayaker, right? This is kayak talk, right? There's fleece lined pants. You know, if you're a kayaker and you're not going to be in the water, right? What I feel waders are for in the water scenario.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe,
Or unless it's
right?
just cold or wet or
Yeah,
whatever, you know. Yeah.
like duck
Just don't want
hunting.
to get wet
You know
at
what I
all.
mean?
Right.
You're going to be wet. You know, you're going to get splashed and stuff like that. You don't want to be soaked.
Right.
But man, I don't know what the hell I would do.
It's just one of
I
those.
mean, you
It's
try
one
to
of those.
kick your
It's one of those go time moments. You got to be able to clear your
yeah,
head and
dude.
say, okay, this is what I got to do. Get out of this.
That's a scary
Yeah.
situation. I mean, I'm sure there's people that practice that.
Every
Aaron
second of that.
Salazar has a comment. He says, "Wear a belt so water doesn't go to the legs. The air in the legs will keep you floating."
Pretty smart.
But that's going to be your
Pretty smart.
upside down. Right?
You're. I guess if you're underwater. I guess my initial thing would do obviously get your shoulder straps off, and try
Oh
and
yeah,
somehow get that thing off you. But like you said, if it's sucked to you or however,
yeah.
it depends on the scenario.
Because I'm thinking kayaker,
Right.
and I always have a life jacket.
Right.
But if you're a waiter,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a life jacket.
I've been in Baffin and stepped off next to these big rocks. Right up next to all the big rocks, there's washouts next to all of them, and it's been in the 40s.
Yeah.
And I've walked off, stepped down in a hole like that, and been covered up to my knees, in water.
Yeah.
Not necessarily being in like a dangerous situation. It's not fun by
Oh
any
no,
means.
dude.
It's not fun at all.
Yeah, let's
But
change the subject because I want to sleep tonight. Right. This is already going to give me bad dreams. Right. We'll jump back into it in the safety, but media, right?
Mhm.
I want to talk about media perception, right? When we see your posts, we see your dog going. What's the dog's name?
I've got two. I've got two labs, a weenie dog and a little terrier mutt dog. So the oldest dog, probably the one you see the most of, is Bo. He's he's my big dog of the house, and then Goose is his younger brother. They're both black labs. Um, I train them myself. They're my work partners.
Really?
They're my boys.
It's amazing to see those dogs work, man.
They're pretty. I got blessed with the dogs that I have and the training that I was kind of taught.
You taught these
I
dogs?
train my own dogs.
Oh wow.
And I think that's why we have such a good bond. I think.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys, they spend lots of money and they have very well trained dogs and all that stuff, and there's zero hate towards that at all.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the time, completely understood. I took the time to do
Or
it.
the money. It's expensive.
It's very expensive.
Yeah.
It's very expensive, and I just kind of I pride myself in taking the time and kind of building my dogs the way I wanted them to be built, or to work. And luckily, within time, they have come out to be amazing dogs. Now, they are both different. Every dog's going to have their perks and
Yeah.
their not so good stuff. And that's just the way it is. I think that's with every dog. But yeah, I've definitely been lucky with them.
The way you trained your labs, the way you trained the weenie dog.
Good luck. That weenie dog, he runs the roost, dude.
Oh,
He
really?
runs the whole house. Yeah.
Uh,
There's not a thing that goes on without him doing it first.
yeah. So we see the labs with the goggles on
Oh yeah.
for the Sandhill
Mm-hmm.
hunts.
Mm-hmm.
Is that for precaution or is that
100% protection.
because something has happened before?
Things have happened, and that's
Yeah.
not with me personally, but they have happened, and that's why people have brought the goggles in to
Yeah.
play. And no, it's a real thing, man. The sandhill cranes, for those of you guys who aren't too familiar with sandhills,
That's scary, man.
I mean, some of these birds, a big mature bird can have about a 60-inch wingspan, and they stand close to 4 feet tall. They're
Oh,
big.
really?
They're 3.5, 4 feet tall. They're very big, and they are very smart, and they are very aggressive.
Let's drink to dog safety
Absolutely, absolutely.
because everybody always thinks of
It's no joke,
human safety.
right?
You know what I mean? Let's drink to canine safety.
We're gonna keep coming up with stuff to drink about. This is good.
Man, so Bo, if you tell Bo what's his call?
So I use their name,
Okay.
and that's another thing that's kind of it depends on the trainer. Some guys will use a certain call for all the dogs, and then some
Oh,
guys will use, because you want to be able to send. If you're using multiple dogs, you want to be able to send one at a time,
yeah.
right? Because you don't want just dogs running
Oh,
around
that makes
everywhere,
sense, right?
right? So my dogs are Bo, Goose, so they both know when I call them, that's their time to go.
So when you say Bo, he knows to go,
Mhm,
and when you say Bo, he knows to come back.
and I can stop him midway and give him direction on which way I want him to go. Say if there's multiple birds out there and one's 150 yards and one's 60, he doesn't see the one at 60. I can stop him at 60 and turn him and tell him, left, right,
And he'll
whatever.
just start
Send him
looking.
over. He'll stop and look at me, and I'll tell him which way to go, and he'll go that way and then find whatever it is I'm looking
Dude,
for.
that's amazing. Do you ever let like let's say I get a dog and be
Mhm.
like, hey dude, I want my dog to do what your dog does.
Oh yeah, I do some personal training.
Okay.
I do one dog at a time with guys.
It's expensive.
It's not it's I do like $500 a month, and then they pay for the food. A lot of places are more, well, $7, $8, $900 a month.
And the dog has to stay there
Right, stays at the house, right?
for a month.
I do a month at a time. And
Okay.
now, and if I get a dog that just doesn't, and it's going to take a couple months to really see if the dog is going to take to what it is that I'm trying to do. And I've had a couple that are just, and I've called the owner and said, hey man, just letting you know before
I
you
gotta
spend
work.
another $500, this is kind of what I'm getting out of it.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what I see. He might be good for this, but he's probably not going to be good for whatever it is you're looking for,
Yeah.
or whatever it is. And so I usually start with the basics. A dog that's within 1 to 2 years old,
Okay.
even younger.
They're already potty trained and
Most
everything.
of them are house trained. At 2 years old, it's a little tough because they're already kind of set in their ways.
Right.
If you have a dog that you want to be a bird dog, and he's already sitting on the couch every day,
Yeah.
it might be a
Yeah.
little tough.
Because you don't want these dogs to be chill,
No, no.
obviously, right?
So my dogs, it really just depends on when you train them. The earlier you get it, and you can really inset those boundaries and those rules and those things that you train them on. Like my dog didn't know how he was bird training before he was potty training in the house. And that's just so you can instill that in their core memory, if you will.
Yeah.
Like they learn that first.
Yeah, you want that to be
Like
their first
that is their background. And
interaction.
then
Yeah.
after that, everything kind of comes easy. Sit, stay, all that stuff is simple.
Right.
Potty training, that's easy compared to learning how to develop these skills and learning what a bird is and learning how to retrieve and when to go and when to stop, kind of stuff
Yeah.
like that. So there's
Because
a
they know that this is not just a toy either.
right,
The duck is not the
right,
duck, a sandhill crane,
hmm
whatever you have them going after. This is not a toy
right. It's not
to
something
just
to play with.
ruin,
It's not just for fun to tear up.
Yeah.
Like you have a room full of toys, that's fine. The one thing I preach with everybody, and I would do it myself, is whenever you're training a dog, and this is just a little, tip for anybody that's wanting to start looking at a puppy or training a puppy, is get you a little dove wing, a bird wing, duck wing, whatever it is you want to hunt, and let him play with that, fetch with that whenever he's real little. I'm talking like, 6, 7, 8 weeks old, whenever you really want to start, training them,
Right.
and throw it out there, maybe 5, 10 minutes, 3 or 4 throws sometimes. If they lose interest, take it away, put it up. Don't let that dog see it at all
Mm.
until it's next time. And then they're going to fire off and they're going to
Yeah.
go, oh, okay, we're doing that again. We're doing that again,
Yeah.
and you progress with that.
So the dog not only will go for duck or sandhills,
hmm
he'll also go for dove.
Everything.
Wow.
My dogs are too, other than like the pheasant or quail hunting or anything
Oh
like
yeah.
that. I don't really
That's
mess with
more
too
like a
much of that.
pointer.
That's pointers, GSP,
Like
stuff
you
like
don't want him to go get it. You just want him to tell you where it's
that.
at.
Right. And that's a
Kind of deal.
totally different ball game of training. Like those
Yeah.
dogs are actually, and I'm probably going to catch something for this because there's a lot of quail guys out there now. Like they actually train those dogs not to retrieve when those birds are, when they find the birds, right?
Oh.
They, and the training is completely different from what I've heard. Rather than my dog going and fetching something that I've already shot, this dog is supposed to know that he's not going to catch that
Mhm.
until it's shot.
But those are beautiful ass dogs.
Oh, they're awesome.
But
And
you don't
they,
want those type of dogs to be duck hunting dogs.
well, they're not really
Tell
made.
us the for real, man.
They're
Hey,
not made for it.
this is the Travis
I
show.
don't I
We
don't
don't
think
care
they're
what anybody else is
I
gonna
don't
think.
think they're made for it
Okay.
personally.
So if I want, I've just went through my first year duck hunting
Hmm.
season,
Hmm.
and I pretty much shot everything. You know what I mean? I'm just
Hmm.
kidding. Right.
Hmm. Yes, I know a few of those.
I had to go get my own ducks.
Hmm.
So I was real okay, man. I got to go out there and get this thing. Now,
Yep.
do I really want to
Stomp
shoot
through
it?
the mud.
Do I want to shoot this thing?
Yeah, it'll
Right.
make you think.
You know,
Yeah, especially.
I'm sure that the owner of the dog is like, dude, do I really want to send my dog back out there again?
Hmm.
There's this guy I work with. His name's Drew Atkins, big time duck hunter, bad to the bone, limits out
Hmm.
every time he goes. At least that's what he
I
says.
know, of
Right.
course, I do too.
So, so he said that he sent his dog out in the mud, and it's sunk all the way down.
I believe it.
What do you do?
You're gonna have to go get your dog.
Well, because there's hunters out there that are like, dude, that dog is my dog.
Oh yeah, no, that's
You
your.
know, if
That's your.
that dog sinks, guess what?
I'm going with it.
I'm sinking too, man.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Bo's getting up in age, and I've kind of like considered, like, man, what am I going to do when this dog dies or when he passes away or whatever? I'm just kind of like, holy crap. And
That's bad.
it's never been like that with any other animal
You've
in
had
my
dogs
entire
before,
life.
Bo.
Dogs, horses, cows, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
I don't know what I'm going to do, man. I don't know. You definitely build, once you've worked with and trained and built a dog, you're not going to get another bond.
Yeah.
Like that dog. Like, I have Goose, his younger brother.
Mhm.
He's Goose.
And they're really brothers?
They're same blood, 2 years apart.
Oh, well.
And like there's Goose, but then there's Bo. Bo's
Mm.
kind of my boy. He was my first
Yeah.
real, serious bird dog. But no, man, it's
Do you ever see Bo and Goose communicate?
oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you could tell Bo just told Goose something,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Goose is all right.
You know who the boss is around, and between the two of them, you know who
That's
the boss
weird,
is.
right?
Yeah. The older brother,
Super smart.
he's a little bit different built. He's a little heavier. He's a little like more broad shoulders, I guess, if you will. Goose is more like the athlete. So as far as like, getting into stuff, Bo's gonna take Goose out anytime. But Goose will
Yeah.
run circles around him.
If I'm at the CCA,
Mhm.
well, I'll make it even worse. I'm at the Ducks Unlimited, and they're the guys that are trying to sell me a $10,000 dog. Do I buy that dog? No. Where do I buy the
No.
duck dog?
So I got both of my dogs from a buddy of mine, John Boskamp. I don't know if he's still breeding dogs or not.
Oh, I know Josh
You
from
know?
Flint Hills too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So John, yeah.
Yeah, John.
Yeah. So I got both my dogs from him. I don't know if he still does dogs or
John
not.
Boscan probably has more muscles than this whole building
I know,
combined.
I know,
Right.
I know. Yeah, yeah. Once he got onto that kick, man, and don't get me wrong, he's like winning everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well,
to
this
see.
isn't
But it's
making fun of him.
no,
For-
it's wild.
yeah.
But no, like my dogs came from them. I know of several other guys that are guides also that have gotten dogs from him. And like I said, if he doesn't breed another dog for the rest of his life, I will tell him you have bred the best dogs that I've ever seen.
Really?
As far as I've seen, $500 too. So
What do you mean 500?
that's what I bought my dogs for. They're not
Wow.
$10,000, $1,300.
And he still sells them at that much?
I don't know. I don't even know if he breeds them anymore.
Dude, I'll go buy one right now.
I would have to
for
call him and
$500.
ask him if I could get one more puppy out of the litter that I got, which those dogs are probably older now, but I would definitely have gotten more.
And it's a lab.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a brown lab?
Black
or
lab.
A black lab.
Yeah, black lab.
Do you feel the black labs perform better?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, that was set up. You know,
Because I mean, personally, I want a chocolate lab.
so chocolate.
I mean, they're prettier.
I've heard
I feel.
I've heard, you hear all the things, right? Black lab is like the original lab, right?
Oh
That's
yeah,
the best genes, yada yada yada. But you can mix genes all you want.
yeah,
It's all going to be relevant. And I don't necessarily mess with like the silver labs and all the really just like pretty dogs that
yeah.
they try and make so much. But your black, yellow, brown, stuff like that, like they say, yellow labs are nuts. They're wild.
Oh really?
And from what I've seen, and black labs are, like you said, the more generic base bloodline stuff. I've seen great dogs out of every single one of them. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see any.
It's the training
It's a lot
they
of the
get.
training, discipline, stuff like that.
Yeah,
You can train a poodle, which
yeah,
people don't realize poodles are bad. They're great bird dogs.
yeah.
You know, but
Somebody was telling me they had a poodle dog. Oh, it was Matt Murphy.
they're actually
His
like
dog
water
is half
dogs.
poodle,
Hmm.
half something else.
The long, skinny torso, long legs. They're
Yeah,
fast. They swim.
yeah.
Actually really good dogs. The only thing is they have that goofy, curly looking hair.
Well, I think this one is half, so it's somebody tell me what the other half was of Matt Murphy's bird dog. I know it's poodle. It's definitely not Chihuahua or somewhere something around there. It's not. But I've been wanting to get a dog.
Get one, man.
I don't have a fence in my property yet because I don't want
Okay.
this dog just to be inside the
Right,
house
right,
locked
right,
up.
right,
I
right.
don't want
Sure.
him to let it out and then run off and get hit by a car or something. I want him to be free. You know what I mean? And
You need to get you a little kayak dog.
yeah,
Train you a
yeah.
little
You see
Jack
them
Russell
people that just
Terrier.
hold it up in the front
Oh
and,
yeah.
and it's a little
Get you a little Jack Russell
puppy.
Terrier or something that he can
Yeah,
hang out with you. And go.
those are good dogs, right?
They're very good dogs. They're very smart.
But I feel like this dog, if you're gonna have a duck dog, if you're gonna have a Sandhill crane dog,
Oh yeah.
if you're gonna have
An
a
outdoors,
dog,
yeah, an
right?
outdoors, a man's dog,
Yeah,
right?
you want a bigger dog, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like you want him to be able to swim on his own. You
Hmm.
want him to be able to feel the bottom. You know, probably
Right.
probably give him a break from swimming.
The labs are built for the water. I mean,
Yeah.
everything about them. If you really actually look at them, the way they shed water off the hair, the webbing on their toes, the just the way they're built for water, cold weather, stuff like that. And that's the only reason I say like a Vizsla or a GSP or anything like that. It's not really necessarily built for say duck
Yeah.
hunting.
Man, but
They
those
get cold,
GSPs are
man. They
badass.
get cold and they're out there shivering the whole
Oh
time.
yeah.
It's cold. And
If you're cold, the dog's cold.
those dogs are built to run. Yeah, I've done a few quail hunts with some buddies, and those dogs are just nonstop all day long. You rest them for a few minutes, let the other ones out, and
Yeah.
then they're covering miles and miles and miles.
Right.
You do that to a lab, you're not going anywhere.
Does the lab know when to stop?
As far as
Like if he's just working and working and working, he's like, dude,
no,
I'm
no,
done.
no. So like between my two dogs, Bo will know when to stop.
Okay.
He'll tell you like, "Hey, I'm tired," but he's also 8 years old. Goose will probably run until he dies. He will die just in
Just working.
mid run. Yeah.
That's good though,
Yeah,
right?
it's good. It's
But
good
that's
drive,
bad.
but
Right.
you got to be able to know what's what the difference. You got to take care of your dogs.
Yeah.
Some guys, and I understand. You know, some guys use their dogs as tools. I do as well,
Right.
but those are still my boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not going in a kennel in the back of the truck and staying there all day long. They're
Oh, you give
mostly.
your dog ice cream and stuff.
Oh yeah, my
Yeah.
dogs they're my boys.
Yeah.
I take care of them, and I think.
So you at a moment's notice, you'll be like, hey, guess what? He's not going right now.
Oh
I'm not sending him, dude.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
we know where the duck is.
Hmm. Yeah, and
We're not sending him.
that
He's gonna
happens a
chill for a
lot
little bit.
sandhill hunting. So the difference between like duck hunting and sandhill hunting, duck hunting comes in like little flurries, right? You get a bunch of ducks coming, bam, 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 bam. Okay, there might be some behind them. You might wait for those to come in, decoy, whatever you want to do. And the birds will still work for the most part, but you want to try and get those birds out of the decoys kind of as fast as you can. One, they're going to drift away or float away or
Yeah.
whatever the case is. Two,
Unless they're hurt.
you don't want them sitting in the spread, especially if they're looking different than your.
Oh yeah.
If something looks off in your spread, and a lot of people don't realize this, like they're not dumb. You say redheads are pretty dumb,
Yeah.
right? Everybody
You're the
knows
second person
the
that's telling me that.
redheads are pretty dumb compared to most of our birds here, and they're about the only ones that'll decoy on just about anything. Anything else, if you have anything that looks funky in that spread,
Right.
they're not going to go to it.
So you don't want to hurt duck out there.
No, no. I mean, just
Creating emotion.
ethically, and
It's like
Just
a little live mojo out there.
right. And don't get me wrong, we've had plenty of ducks sitting there bobbing around, looking around in
Uh-huh.
the spread. And you're like, leave him here. He's all right.
Yeah, right.
He's not going anywhere.
Tie him up.
He thinks he's in a group of
Is
ducks.
that
He's
against
not
the
going
law to
anywhere.
tie him up?
I think so.
Is it?
I would imagine so. Yeah.
See, that would have been another ticket.
Yeah, that would have been a good
Dang
one. Yeah, live
I'm just
decoys.
kidding, guys. I'm just kidding.
But the sandhill thing, like we try and describe a sandhill crane, and most people are not. They're not used to them, or they don't even know you can hunt them most of the time. But they are probably equivalent to a turkey, like visual and smart wise, that has a bird's eye view.
Mm.
They're very smart.
Oh, really?
They're very smart, and I've seen them fly over you. Ducks come in and they're looking at the decoys and they're trying to find a spot to land. A crane will fly over you 3 or 4 times.
Oh,
And
really?
he will sit there and they'll watch them and they'll just sit there and they'll look.
Just out of shooting sight?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They'll be 60, 70 yards up and they'll just look around and they'll look at the decoys and they'll say, something doesn't really look
Man,
right.
I've always heard if you just put a blue tarp out there, they'll laugh. No,
No.
I'm just kidding, guys.
No, man. Hey,
Calm
back in the day,
down,
I've heard
guys.
all those stories. I've
I
heard
just
all
saw
the
all the views just just teary
I've
right?
heard all the stories, man. Back in the day, we used to kill snogies under shopping bags and sticks, and yeah,
Uh-huh.
the times have changed.
I
Man.
see some of those.
Oh yeah,
I seen some of the decoys like a bag type.
yeah. They have socks. We call them
Yeah,
socks.
sock.
Right? Yeah, and it's just a little bag that's got.
Yeah.
It's a bag. It's a piece of canvas that's got some markings on it. Looks like a goose, but those are more for numbers, right? So if
Yeah.
you're going to sit, you want to make yourself look as big as possible in the field. It's kind of the thing for
Okay.
snogies. Because if you're
Why are they landing?
they're eating most of the time.
So you want
every
to?
time.
So they're not looking for water.
If they're looking for water, you're going to be on a pond somewhere,
Okay.
and that's typically like in the mornings. They have a morning feed. Then they'll have probably like a loaf after that, which is either going to be at a pond or maybe a field somewhere where they just kind of go and stage up and hang out.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go to water at some point. Most of the time, almost all of these migratory birds will roost on the water.
Oh,
Geese, ducks, cranes, especially, they'll do it also. Cranes are going to try and find something shallow that they can stand in because they sleep standing up
oh,
primarily.
really?
Right. I've seen some laying down in some fields, and I know they kind of huddle around edges of ponds and stuff, but for the most part, cranes always, and this is, like I said, this is just something that I'm learning through, other people and people that have said stuff about it, but they say cranes will roost in the water so they can hear predators coming
Oh,
towards
okay,
them,
that makes
like
sense.
running a coyote or something coming after them,
Yeah.
something like that. They can hear them
The
and they can
splashing.
kind of react to it. So,
Right.
but they are definitely by far the hardest bird I've ever had to kill in my life.
Really.
And that's kind of what makes it so much fun whenever it works out.
And it's good eating.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's like
amazing.
a ribeye
Everybody says it. Go ahead, say it.
of the sky.
Ribeye in the sky.
Right? Is it?
It is. It's good. So whenever you cut open a sandhill, you're not gonna. It doesn't look like a bird.
So if I went to Bill Miller's
Mhm.
and I asked for a ribeye, and they gave me a ribeye, it's going to taste exactly
No,
like a sandhill.
no, no. It's gonna taste a sandhill. To me, my personal opinion is like a very, like say like a Wagyu fajita.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very tender. It's very soft.
So it's a lower grade, but a higher grade of the lower grade.
Of the
Okay.
for a bird, it's the best bird you're ever gonna eat.
Yeah.
Unless
So
you're
it's
just a
kind of like
chicken fan.
a pintail in
Dark red,
texture.
dark red meat.
I'm gonna have to try. one.
It's I can tell you, it's not like anything you've ever seen.
But you want to eat it like a steak.
Right.
You don't want to fry this thing.
So I'll take a fillet, right? Say I'll fillet one side of the breast off, and you'll have a chunk of meat. It looks like a big, like say chicken breast, but it's like I said, dark red, and it's going to be about 2.5 inches thick or so. What I'll do is I'll butterfly it right down the middle to where it lays open evenly, about an inch on each side. Season it just like a steak, and I'm talking sear it, eat it as rare as you can,
Oh,
as
okay.
rare as you can eat it. If you overcook it, it's going to turn into a
Even
boo.
though it's bird.
Even though it's bird. Eat it as rare as you can eat it, and
Yeah.
it's going to be
A lot of people freak out about that.
yeah. It's a different kind of meat.
Whoever's freaking out about it has no business eating this.
No,
Right.
no.
And what are you gonna top it off with?
I will literally cook it just like a steak. If I've got some instant mashed potatoes or regular homemade mashed
Yeah.
potatoes, whatever like that, lay it on top of there with some of that grease that you just cooked off of
Potato
there.
wedges,
It's good.
a whole bunch of ketchup.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
It's
so let's
good.
talk about a little bit of perception on the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Media,
Yeah. hmm
media on the water, the perception, right? When we see your posts, right? Like I said, it was my first season duck hunting. It might be my first coming up season for Sandhill Crane.
Yeah.
Right? Never know.
Mm-hmm.
You see the big time hunters, dude. Them guys could post them putting gas, and they're gonna get about 4,000 likes
Oh yeah.
for putting gas.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not saying you, right?
No, no, no.
But I'm gonna
I'm not
mention
on that.
you
I'm not
because
on
you're
that
the first
spectrum.
person I see.
I'm
Right
not on the
now. Okay.
spectrum.
You see Travis Thompson post a 200-yard shot, and his dog. He sends his dog to get it. He sends Bo to get the dog, and the dog just
Just works.
quick,
Right.
right? You don't even have to send him a certain way. You just say Bo, and the dog goes and gets it, and you get about 20 likes. Not saying that you did,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
This is just hypothetical, right? Why do you think that? Is it the name of the hunter?
It's I mean, really, I don't do a ton of marketing. I don't have a whole lot of trust and love in the social media
Because I
game.
had no idea you worked on dogs.
Oh yeah.
And
See, I kind of that's kind of what I guess saying is like, I don't push a whole lot of social media. I'll post some fishing stuff kind of throughout the day. I don't get into the marketing stuff too crazy. You know, I try and keep busy, but like there's some guys that get so wrapped up in that stuff that's really all they care about.
yeah,
You know, I don't need $55,000 or 55,000 clients, you know, all the time
yeah.
dealing with, you know, stuff like that.
You
And a
just need
lot of these,
52 of
right.
them.
I need a few, right? I'm
Well,
just,
that's how trust. I'm gonna be.
I would love more. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but I'm not going to try and get it through marketing or social
yeah.
media, if you will, you know, because a lot of your good
So you say
clients,
Biddy's just word of mouth,
right? So a lot of my good clients come from word of mouth,
right?
and they come from business owners and things like that. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, some of my best clients that do some of the best work with me and stuff like that, they probably don't even have a Facebook. You know,
Right.
they say, "Hey, so and so called. They said you're the guy to go with." Okay, let's go check it
Because
out.
you know when you'll be scrolling and then you'll come up to Corpus Christi chat or something, whatever it's called, and they'll be like, "Hey, well, I'm wanting to go on a sandhill hunt."
Mm-hmm.
You know, dude, first name that comes to mind is Travis Thompson,
Well, that's
right?
good.
Even
That's good.
though,
Right, right.
dude, I have no idea
Hmm.
anything about, but you don't see anybody marketing that side of hunting.
Right.
You see duck hunters all
Oh
the
yeah,
time. You
tons of them,
see
tons of them. So
fishing guides all the time.
we're actually pretty blessed with what we have here, because this isn't known for sandhill crane hunting down here at all,
Really.
actually. So we started out goose hunting, and my
And that's
part,
easy, right?
no,
No.
no. So down here we don't have a whole lot of geese. We used to. My hunting partner Ben, he started out goose hunting. He brought me into the goose hunting deal.
What's his name?
Ben Hurd.
Ben Hurt. Shout out to Ben
Yeah,
Hurt.
Ben Hurd, man. He's my good little buddy. Hopefully we got good things coming, you know, for waterfowl season.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting his captain's license and all that stuff, and hopefully we can get him in the same realm that we're working with, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
what we're doing. But um so we started out goose hunting, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of goose hunting. You're setting out probably close to 1,000 decoys every morning to kill
Oh, dude, I hate that.
70 birds
Yeah.
at the very most, you know, normal days anywhere from 15 to 25, somewhere around there. And
I
that
hate
just,
the just the 10 dozen that I throw
oh my
off my
God, man.
kayak.
I'm talking, we're out there at 3 o'clock in the morning setting up decoys to maybe kill a bird.
And the guest doesn't have to do any of this.
No, no, they don't have to. Most of them do.
Oh, really?
As far as snow goose hunting goes, that's kind of like, it's more of like a camaraderie thing.
I feel like that's part of it.
Everybody
You
gets
know what
out
I mean?
there.
That's part
Right.
of the whole trip.
And
You know?
that's what makes those memories. Like I post a lot of
Yeah.
stuff about making the memories. And if you do the work and it sucks at the time, right? Like going on an elk hunt, it sucks every second of it. But
Right.
once you look back at it, you're like, okay, like I'm ready to
Yeah.
do that again. Hiking up that mountain, almost dying,
Yeah.
you know, all that stuff. It sucks, you know, trudging through the mud at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's cold, it's wet, it's raining, all that stuff. It's not easy. At the time, you're like, I'd rather be in bed. You
Right.
know, I do it every day.
Yeah.
I'd rather be in bed. Looking back at it after the afternoon, now it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
You
Going
know,
over the footage, you're like,
and
dude,
that's
this was.
just part of it. You know, it's
Yeah.
just part of it. And anyway, so as far as the goose hunt goes, our goose numbers kind of dwindled quite a bit over the last few years, and they were going anywhere from. And I say numbers. We don't have numbers
We're
compared
not
to
going to
like
blame this on
Arkansas.
the freeze, are we?
No, no, no. The geese actually like that.
Okay.
They would actually probably have helped us. We would have pushed a lot of birds down, but or just our numbers alone, like El Campo, anywhere, northeast area up there has a lot of birds just because they have all the rice and the wetlands for it and stuff like that. Most of our stuff is all farm fields. So if there's not food in the farm fields, if it's not cold enough, they're not going to be here. So really our mild winters that we've had the last, say, 7 or 8 years, minus the freezes, the crazy ass freezes that we get, um, our winters are pretty mild, in the
Right.
average 55, 60 degrees, somewhere around there on a normal day. That being said, the geese don't really come down here too much. So the sandhills have always been here. They've always come down here. We have actually a whole zone in the Aransas Pass area, kind of
Oh,
around that
wow.
181. It's like anything on the east side of 181 that comes all the way down to Corpus is like a no hunt zone
Whoa.
because of the cranes and the
Uh-oh.
somebody's gonna say it here in a second. There's another bird, whooping crane.
Whooping crane. Yeah.
Whooping crane, they're protected, right?
Yeah.
So if if you see a whooping crane anywhere near where you're hunting, be advised, do not shoot anywhere near that bird. I'm talking duck hunting, the whole 9 yards.
What do the whooping cranes taste like?
I don't know. I imagine it's a lot like a sandhill just because
I'm just
they
kidding.
look identical.
Oh, really? They
They're
got
just
the red on them
they're
and
just
stuff?
white.
Okay.
They're feathers instead of gray or white. They have the black tips on the wings, the red on the face, the whole nine. Or I
Oh,
guess they
wow.
might have the black on the face, but I mean they're almost identical. Um, we worked really a lot with biologists, and we've learned that they take that stuff very very seriously.
That's a
That
ticket.
that bird. No, we had about a
It's a
four.
jail time or a offense or a ticket
There's a story out there of a guy getting put in jail for it.
for killing one?
He actually called the game warden, said, "Hey, I think I messed up. Can you verify this for me?" Game warden came out there, checked it. Yeah, sure enough, it's a whooping crane. And the story is they put him in jail for it.
Oh, dude. See, that's bad.
Guy, successful guy, family, the whole 9 yards, just threw him in jail. Took his hunting license away for life, and yada yada yada. It's unfortunate
Yeah.
because he's trying
I
to do
mean,
the
you
right
want to
thing.
have a bond. Well, not necessarily a bond, but you don't want to be afraid to
Right.
call the game warden.
I know 1,000 people that would have just walked away. He's trying to do the right thing, and
Yeah.
you know, in
That
certain
sucks.
situations, I'm sure some other officer would probably have acted different. There's no
I
telling.
mean, if you're going to be hunting with a shotgun, you got a box of shells.
Hmm.
You kind of want to make sure you know what you're doing a
Right,
little bit, right?
right, right. So,
But there is accidents. I
absolutely.
mean, me personally, I've messaged a couple of my buddies asking, could I have shot this? Right,
I get a lot of those.
right.
What did I shoot?
Yeah. How many
Well, yeah. How many of
should
these?
should
Right.
I have
Yeah.
shot?
Should I have shot this? Yeah.
Right.
What is this? Just a flat out. What is this?
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's weird.
Oh yeah. I get a lot of those.
You got to be real careful what you say on Facebook
Oh
too,
yeah.
because I might come and arrest my ass.
Yeah. They might. I mean, if you there's no technically any way to prove it now, but
Yeah, I'll run, dude.
yeah, it's all right. They got to get up the stairs first.
Yeah, there's an exit that way just in case, right? I'm just kidding.
Ground checking is something you don't want to practice.
Yeah,
We've all done it. I guess a time or two, and early in the mornings and stuff like that, and you shoot something, and you just be very sure what you're shooting
I'm
before
sure
you
over
see it.
time it gets better.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
You
if you're
start
with a
learning,
guide,
right?
like if I go with you, you're not just gonna be all right, dude. Hey, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Unload.
Right, right.
You're
Exactly.
gonna be like, okay, dude, hold on.
Wait a minute.
Let's
Yeah.
wait a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in there that
Mm-hmm.
we cannot shoot, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it works, but
9 times out of 10, you'll have somebody that wants to shoot something, right?
yeah,
Because most of our stuff down here is we got a bunch of redheads. But what a lot of people don't understand is our limits too, because like 98% of the redhead population comes down here to Corpus.
and
They're
they're
not.
raising that, right?
I don't know if they are or
I
not.
heard something they're gonna raise the redhead
I don't think so.
bag limit.
I don't think so.
No,
But they might. They might. I might
are
be
redheads
completely wrong.
any good to you?
No.
Right?
There's ways to do everything, and I've had them.
With a
I've
bunch of ketchup?
I've had them broken down into tacos and mixed into. We've actually the best way we've made it was boudin.
Oh,
mix it in a boudin instead of your
just
liver.
overpower it with something
Instead of
else.
your liver, you put your ducks in there because it's got the same
Yeah.
texture, the same everything as it. And
Uh-huh.
you're just trying to use it. Some guys use it as dog food.
Oh, that's yeah, that's a
It's
good
all
idea.
kinds of stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I personally don't care to eat duck that much, just
Yeah.
personally. Um,
On
but
Thanksgiving, I had a bag of I don't really even know, but I had a mixture of pintail. I had a mixture of redhead.
mm,
I had a mixture of what's the white one?
widgeon,
No,
kind of white, not white.
it was white and black.
Oh, like a bluebill,
Nope. I had a mixture of bluebill.
buffalo head.
Yeah, buffalo head.
Okay,
Had a mixture of buffalo head. Oh, I could go back on the posts. I had a mixture of them all. I'm not just a duck hunter that's just gonna.
right.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
take the meat off these things,
yeah,
right?
sure.
And I made them into little steaks for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I had no idea what the heck I'm doing, right? First of
Yeah.
all,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Obviously, right? But dude, they loved it, man.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, my family loved it.
really?
Yeah, they were like, dude, I even put like little slivers in a jalapeno popper.
Hmm.
And they're
Sounds
like,
good.
dude, what is this? Oh, it's duck.
So the redhead, you will get a different taste. A pinto eat all day long. Teal,
Even if you fry it,
gadwall, the whole 9 yards.
even if you fry it.
Best thing is let them soak for a little while. Get all the blood, as much blood as you can out of them. Right. Let them soak in the blood.
Oh,
Let
yeah.
them soak in water. Whatever you want to soak them in. Right. Soak them in that. Let it
Yeah.
sit for a few days.
Oh,
That's
really?
going to help it out a lot.
A few
A
days.
few days.
Oh, wow.
The pintail, not so much. Pintail, you can clean out. Teal, you can clean out right there and eat them, that day. Make poppers out of teal. That's one of the best things you can eat. I love eating teal, stuff like that. Redheads, and I'm sure somebody has a recipe, but I mean, I've tried it. Trust me. I'm a sportsman at heart.
Yeah.
I love the birds. I love the fish. I love everything. And man, I'm telling you, there's not, as far as I'm concerned, there's no good way to eat a redhead.
Like you're never gonna go to the Ducks Unlimited and they're gonna be serving redhead.
Absolutely.
Oh, right.
I'll walk right out of there.
Right. Man, so we're already 57 minutes. I already told you it was gonna go by
Oh yeah.
fast,
Yeah.
right? I want to get into baby trip
Oh yeah. Yeah.
before we draw the line here on the show because it's Easter, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's wrapping up their Easter baskets and hopefully there's a brand new Beretta.
Something.
Beretta?
They give that for Easter
Is that
nowadays?
good? Is that a good one?
Man, that's a good Easter
What are you
present.
shooting?
I didn't get anything. So, I have a few Benellis, Super Black Eagle 3s. I've got some super. My best one that I've had for a long time was a Super Vinci, but I've got onto the Beretta train. I originally started shooting Berettas growing up, just
Okay.
dove hunting, 12 gauge stuff.
The Maxus?
Well, back in the day, it was like the old school Woodstock Beretta. Right now, we've got some Benellis, and Ben's the one who kind of turned me on the Beretta stuff. He's got an A400 Extreme that he
Oh,
swears by. So that's probably gonna be my next purchase as
okay.
far as those go. Um, man, it's like anybody who's familiar with guns and has a preference on things. There's the gas, there's inertia, there's yada yada yada. There's a million
Day
different
one.
things.
I want to go with Travis Thompson.
Hmm.
I don't have a shotgun. I want to go buy one. First gun, what do I go buy?
Probably a Benelli M2.
Benelli M2.
Yeah, it's not $2,500.
How much is it?
It's about $1,000.
Well, it's not bad.
But
I like that.
it's lightweight. It's not going to break the bank, and it's something that is easy to get, and it shoots just about everything. It won't shoot at 3.5. They shoot up to 3 inch, which I'll be honest with you, you don't need to shoot 3.5. So just about anything.
Yeah, I like 3 inch.
3 inch is fine.
Right.
But they're
1500 velocity?
13, 15. Depends on the shells.
Oh,
you're
wow.
shooting.
13.
Depends on the shells you're shooting.
Okay.
Yeah. But like if you're shooting steel shot, you'll probably be up there.
What are we talking about here? Duck hunting?
Duck hunting, dove hunting, everything. I'm talking all around shotgun, something like that. I've even got a Savage came out with a new shotgun. It's called the Renegade. I've been shooting that. We were shooting it at Cranes.
Turkey, everything.
Everything. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's been pretty good. There's a lot of brands out there. There's Stoger. If you're looking for something that's a budget build, Stoger makes a good one. There's a handful of brands out there, Franke, stuff like that. And these
Oh,
are
yeah.
all like not spin-offs, but like say second.
What about Remington?
Remington's always you
Remington pump?
cannot go wrong with a Remington.
Right, that's what I
870,
shoot, a
right?
Remington
There's
pump.
nothing wrong
I
with
think
that
I paid
whatsoever.
$100
Yeah,
for it.
that's all you need.
It was my buddy's used
I
shotgun.
will tell you, you put that in the salt water, you might have a problem. But
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah,
Well, I did.
you did.
I mean, I kept up with it.
Right.
I cleaned it.
And I've had guys bring out like their polished blued shotguns out on the boat, and I'm like, hey man,
That's yeah.
as soon as you leave here, I'm talking, get in the truck. You need to coat that thing in something
Oh, I do.
oil.
Oh, mine's all
Related.
rusted
I
up,
don't care what it is.
but it just adds
Coat it.
character, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I showed up duck hunting with a SWAT shotgun.
Oh, you brought the short barrel,
No,
the home defense.
it wasn't the home defense one. It was the hunting one. You know, and I
Yeah.
mean, it
It had
had
like a 22-inch barrel, not the 28.
yeah, that one. Right. Man, so baby Trip, dude.
Yeah, that's my boy, man.
You're like America's favorite dad.
Man, so
And he's like America's favorite son.
that means a lot. August 25th, 2020, that boy was born and brought in my life, and you don't know what you're coming. You don't know what you're getting into, man. At
I
first you're
have
kind of
one I have one little girl.
right,
She's 8.
right.
How old is Trip?
He's 3. He's 3. He'll be 4 in August. And
Yeah, you have no idea
oh, dude,
what's in
you
store.
have no idea. You don't know what to do. You
No.
don't know what to
He
say.
was your first one
Yeah, he's
as
my
well?
first
Yeah.
one. Yeah. And man, I'll tell you, that dude, he's my best friend in the whole world. You know, he's my best friend in the whole wide world. And he
Is it safe to drink to Trip?
absolutely,
Little Trip,
absolutely.
if you're watching, man, you're probably not watching. You're probably watching what's the one with the dogs? The blue dogs?
Oh, heck, I don't know. The
What's
Paw Patrol.
Yeah, the Paw Patrol. You're probably watching Paw Patrol.
We
Well,
got
you
Paw
watch this
Patrol.
show about 10 years from now. Here's to you, man.
Love you, buddy.
Good things in store for baby Trip. Man, so he's been with going out on trips with you since he was baby.
But little
Right.
bitty. Yeah, oh yeah. I got him. So um, whenever he first started coming on the boat, he was probably a year old, maybe a year old.
Oh yeah.
And I bought this inflatable fishing raft, right? And you're supposed to sit in it and hang your legs off the side of it and fish out of it, like floating down a river or something like
Yeah.
that. Well, I kind of enclosed it and I netted in the front of it and I built him a little bimini top for
Uh-huh.
it. And he rode in that thing.
So you don't get all
I
burned up.
weighted him with him. I just tied him to my bait bucket and we took off. We
Uh-huh.
used to do that all the time whenever he was little. But now he's getting to the age now where he's like, all right, he's getting serious about it. We go up to the river and stuff like that. And I mean, of course, we're on the boat all the time, but it helps that his mom loves fishing. Whenever her and I first got together, that was how we broke her in the middle of the wintertime,
Yeah.
wade fishing, got her pair of waders. And man, she stuck it out. And she's the one kind of holding it down right now,
Yeah.
while I'm out here trying to build the dream and build everything,
Oh yeah.
you
You gotta
know.
have goals, man.
Oh yeah, and we have the same goals and we have the same beliefs, and I think that's kind of what helps him stay on that track. Like he doesn't really care about the TV and all that stuff.
Oh
Like
really?
if we put he likes YouTube. Don't get me wrong, every kid likes YouTube.
Yeah,
I
the
feel like
tablet.
now, but he watches bass fishing or he watches cows
Or spooled laugh live.
or spool life
There
live.
you
That's
go.
right. That's right. He watches.
And we've seen him. What had me laughing the other day is when he was at the store
Oh
and he was
God.
buying something and
Oh yeah.
he forgot to give the
Dude,
change.
he's so
He
proud.
didn't get his change or something.
He's so proud of himself, man.
Dude, that's
I
funny, man.
try and instill that in him, because just I feel like a lot of
That's
kids are
important, man.
right. They're catered to so much
Yeah.
nowadays that they can't do anything on their own. And then whenever they get to the age of, hey, you're on your own, then they just go nuts.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just kind of at a very young age, I try to instill that into him,
Right.
like in the DNA almost. Kind of like
Yeah.
this is gonna sound bad, but kind of like the dogs.
Yeah.
You train them to know this at the very, very
It
beginning.
sounds bad to people that don't have your lifestyle.
Right. You
You
don't
know what I
if
mean?
you don't understand it, you're gonna go, well, you're training your son like a dog.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Those
I'm
dogs are like your kids.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And
Yeah.
and I think it's worked because I'm talking 100% ate up with it. He
Yeah.
loves nothing more than to hunt and fish. He started playing T-ball now this year.
Oh
So
yeah.
he's loving that right now. But I mean, every day, Daddy, when we going fishing? Daddy, we're
Uh-huh.
going to go fishing. And he spends 90% of his time messing with the croaker or the shrimp or the
Yeah.
lures or
But he's
something.
out there.
Oh, he's out there. And he already knows. He knows the sound of a hook set. He knows that sound. He's, oh, what do you got? What do you
Uh-huh.
got? And we're working on our cast, and he's already throwing a bait caster. He's already doing it all, man.
Yeah.
He's got a. I think if we can do what we want to do, hopefully I can give him something that will give him a good future with
Yeah.
that. You know,
Man, shout out to yourself and Mrs. Thompson. I'm sure Trip is gonna do some great things in
we'll see.
life,
I
man.
hope so. But whatever he wants to do, man.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
Yeah, you
provide,
can't force them.
just trying to
You know what
provide
I mean?
something, you know.
You can you want to keep them off the tablet, but
Right, right.
mine's on the tablet.
Hmm.
You can't take it away, dude.
Now,
I
yeah.
mean, I feel like if they're getting good grades, mine gets all A's.
Well,
I mean,
it'll go through phases.
yeah,
We all did it in school and
yeah.
whatever.
You
You know,
try to keep them
whenever
outside.
PlayStation and stuff came around, and don't get me wrong, I spent
Oh,
many of hours on a PlayStation or whatever the hell it was, you know, growing up, you know,
yeah,
Nintendo or Atari or whatever
yeah.
it
All the
was, you
Nintendo.
know. But
Yeah, I bought mine a bike to start with. Then it evolved into like electric scooter. And I'm like, dude, no, you don't want an electric scooter. And then I was on the electric scooter.
hmm
You know, I'm like, dude, this is
you
badass.
can't
You know,
help but
I want an electric scooter now. You
you
know,
can't help but like kind of like draw into some of this stuff.
yeah,
You know, like
that's
even
like the future, man.
oh yeah,
You know, that I mean, we didn't
it's
have
coming
electric
whether you like it
scooters.
or not.
You know what I mean?
Whether you like it or not, it's
We
coming.
didn't even have tablets.
Hmm.
Maybe you did. Did you?
No, no,
No,
no,
right?
no. That wasn't until I might have been in like middle school, high school. I
Yeah,
didn't get a cell phone until I was probably 18, but that was only because I got left at a track meet by the school one
yeah.
time.
We didn't even have computers in school. We had typewriters.
I guess when I first started school, we had the old
I was kidding.
Macintosh Apple
I don't
stuff.
know. I don't remember.
You were back in the
I don't
black and
even.
white days.
Right. You better not mess up, man. If you're you, you were starting all
Now you're gonna
over if
have to
you
rewrite
messed
that
up,
whole thing.
right? Shout out to Trip, man. Safety on the water with shotguns.
Yeah, that's a big one, man. That's a lot of things that a lot of people don't really take into consideration. And from
Things can go wrong really quick,
personal
right?
experiences, man, I got
Oh,
personal
really?
experience with that. I almost got shot. I'm talking like in the face, like
Oh, shit.
from me to you.
Like almost like the guy pointing the barrel at you or
What
the
wasn't
gun
on the water?
actually.
Wasn't on the water. It was actually in a blind. We were crane hunting, but very similar, very tight space. And into some duck blinds, might fit 4 or 5 guys in this section that we're sitting in. I say that, but you know, pretty
Yeah, yeah,
close
yeah.
to it. It's pretty close quarters for the most part. Be sure you know where you're swinging. You know who's
Right.
kind of shooting at what. I get it. Like it happens. There's birds coming in. You're excited. One thing we preach, and you know, we have a safety meeting every morning and a prayer every morning before we
Oh,
hunt.
really?
Every morning,
Yeah,
no
I
matter
like
what,
that.
no matter what. And it's not for anybody else other than whoever wants to listen,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, the safety meeting you have to listen to, or you're going to go sit in the truck. But the safety meeting goes, you know, you don't turn your safety off. You don't put your gun on fire until your shoulders. You know,
You
because
tell them to
absolutely.
safety off.
And I mean, I've gotten to the point, and don't get me wrong. Whenever we first really started doing it, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, I heard safety's clicking before I even said anything.
Mm.
You know, and that's just it didn't really ring true until the circumstance about to say happened, and we had a guy in the blind, and we're in how we hunt cranes is you're in a panel blind. We're in two panels. It's basically an A-frame, and we're sitting down the middle of it. And there's anywhere from 6 to 15 of us in this thing.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
we have some big ones, and so you really only have so much room to swing on a bird.
Right.
And we try and do our best to get all the birds majority in the front so that everybody can get a shot.
How many
And
birds are we talking about?
so some of our bigger like crane feeds are 5, 6 thousand
Oh,
at
wow.
a time. And not at a time. Like,
So there's no such thing as, hey, I shot that one.
no.
So what do you do when one's banded?
They do the shotgun shell deal. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
No.
You'll put a five or say however many people are in the group, you know, same color shotgun shells, and you throw one in there that's a different color. Or you can do the put like a little note inside the shotgun shell. Everybody grabs one. Whoever finds the one that's got
Oh,
the little
okay.
deal in it, we'll pull it. You know,
Oh, that
or
sucks.
depending on who thinks they shot it. Right. If
Yeah.
everybody shoots, then you're doing that. But if there's like 2 or 3 guys, then they'll have to discuss it. Or
Yeah.
most guys will have GoPros. Like we keep
That's probably
GoPros
why
and
the son
stuff.
and dad were fighting.
Oh yeah, man. I'm telling you, that was wild. But safety is definitely going to be your number one thing, and we've learned that rather than having fun, obviously all that stuff is great. You got to be safe. And what happened was we were all lined up, you know, getting ready to shoot, and the birds came in. Partner, he called the shot. Everybody jumped up, and what happened? The guy threw his shotgun up, and he had a jacket on. Well, threw his shotgun up on fire already. Number one rule already broke. All right, threw the shotgun up and hung the jacket on the shotgun butt. went ahead and shot anyways, and the
Oh, wow.
shotgun went under the arm,
Right.
right? So shotgun's already coming down, and then went to recover the shotgun, hit the trigger again, and at this point it's like on the ground,
Yeah.
and it's my head is right here, right?
It
And I
did it
mean, it was
fire?
close. Three times, all three shells, bam, bam, bam.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what did you do?
I honestly was looking the opposite direction because I heard a shot, and being a guide, anybody's gonna know that you're gonna get your head shot over a lot. Like,
Right.
it's just natural. So a lot of times you just kind of take it.
Brace for it.
And I did that. I bent over, and I heard the shot, bam, bam, because he had already shot up front. The other two were obviously very, very close. I couldn't even hear anything. And I just kind of turned around, and the guy was kind of leaned back, and was another guy had grabbed the barrel of the shotgun because it was falling over at me. Grabbed it, and it fired that last time. And I think what was happening was that person was trying to pick the shotgun up, and it just leaned over. And yeah, the other guys that saw it were like, "All
Dude.
right, this just got kind of real,"
Yeah.
And me as the
Were they drinking?
no, 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 we
You
don't we don't allow too much drinking, especially shooting
okay.
shotguns. Yeah, it's just kind of it's just kind of one of our things. Like,
Right.
don't get me wrong, afterwards, have at it,
Yeah.
but most guys don't drink at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Most of them, I've had some guys that'll have a little sip with their coffee or something like that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's fine. But you know, a lot of times we have kids and families and stuff like that in the blind, and we got to be respectful,
Right.
and I don't recommend it for
Yeah.
sure. It's just
Especially with
fishing.
guns.
You can drink all you want.
What's
Drink
your
all you
next
want.
move after that? What did they do? What did you do?
So after that, I kind of honestly, I just kind of played it off. I didn't want to get pissed, right? Because a lot of guys would just get mad and shut everything down.
Yeah.
And I kind of try and give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And I said,
Other guides would have been, hey, guess what? We're
yeah,
done.
we're out. And
Wow.
it crossed my mind, and I said, hey, what happened? Because I obviously wasn't even aware what was going on. I just turned around and kind of looked back up and said, what happened? Gun misfired or whatever, because everybody was still kind of like going, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like a while later, the guy that was actually sitting next to him was a friend of mine, and he said, no, I grabbed that shotgun. It was falling over towards you. And but during the time I was saying, okay, look, guys, it's okay. Look, birds are still coming. Everybody just get reset. Everybody set back down. Try not to do that again. And the guy was like, "No, this shotgun misfired." And said, here's mine. Shoot mine. I won't even shoot this one. We'll put this one up.
Yeah.
I try and stay as professional and
Right.
whatever as I can, and that's with everything. But I didn't, and it was like probably the second group of birds that came in. So I was trying to like not let this hunt just completely go to just waste.
Yeah.
Because when we book up, we get full, and you don't get another chance until maybe next year.
Yeah.
So,
Did you see that post somebody did where they were fishing? The guide was from Florida, and he just got all pissed off at the client.
the
I don't
offshore
remember
guy,
what happened.
offshore dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the guy, I think one of the clients was like trying to tell him what to do
Oh yeah.
or something like that. I
Yeah.
don't remember what it was, and that guy kind of lost it.
Yeah.
He was, but I know the video, and that's another thing with the social media stuff. The videos are what you see. You don't know the story,
Right.
right? You don't know what that guy
You
was
don't know how the
doing,
day started.
right? I mean, personally, I don't walk around with my phone ready to record some stuff happening. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It escalated
That's
to where the
true,
guy
right?
kind of pissed him off enough to where he was like, "Oh, look, I got you." He was
Yeah.
recording it. He was already ready for it.
Yeah,
I
that's
think I think
true.
he was pushing it. And that was the story, was the guy was all day long kind of pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. And
Really.
this guy finally said, "Dude, whatever he said."
Yeah.
And I think it just kind of
What do you do? Do
escalated.
you wait? Do you wait? Hey, guess what? I see what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, the best
I'm
thing,
gonna
if you can
finish
take
up
him
this
aside,
trip,
right. If
but
you can
when we
take him
go
aside,
back,
yeah. If you can take him aside and just say, "Hey, look, man, I see what you're doing.
yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Like, let's cut it out." I've had, some
Man,
buddies
I didn't
actually
even
here.
see it that way.
Yeah,
Now I do.
actually here recently, I had a buddy of mine that was he had some clients, and one of the younger people on the boat was wasn't in his element, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
Wanted to go home and play games or whatever, and he made that known. Hey, I don't want to be out here anymore. And the dads and everybody else on the boat was saying, like, no, no, we came all the way down here to fish. Like,
Yeah.
we're here to fish. We're gonna stay here. And this kid was actually going to the point of taking the rod and like smacking it on the boat after the guide had said, "Hey, man, like, Try not to do that.
Yeah.
Like, let's just take care of my stuff, please. And it got to the point to where he was, I can't remember what it was. He was pulling the rod up, and the guy said, "Hey, I'm gonna try and reach down for this, and I don't want that rod to have tension on it because if that hook comes out, it's gonna come up and hit me. So we're
Right.
gonna try and do it a certain way, however he was doing it." And the kid was intentionally not doing it, not doing it, not doing it. And sure enough, he went to bend over to pick this fish up, and this dude pulled this rod up, and that cork came out of that fish's mouth and hit him right in the bill of the cap right here, and actually dented the bill of his hat.
Dang.
And he said, "All right, you're done. If he touches another rod, we're going back home."
Yeah.
And that's kind of where you have to. I get some nonsense on the
It was
boat,
the dad's kid that was doing it.
right? And the dad should say, "Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
knock
Yeah.
it off, dude,"
Right.
or whatever. And the fact that they don't, like, I get a lot of kids on the boat, and I don't have problems. I love kids on the boat. I have a 3-year-old. Like, I know how to handle kids. I
Right.
love teaching kids and doing all that stuff. But man, if you're gonna have your kid on the boat, make sure that they're gonna actually, and they don't have to necessarily be engaged the whole time. I get it. Like, the kids are gonna want to play with stuff. Just kind of stay on top of them. Make sure that it's
Yeah.
not my responsibility to make sure that
Yeah. There's
this
a
kid's
safety aspect to it.
right.
You
It's
know what I
not
mean?
messing with this or that or whatever, or falling off the boat or whatever,
Yeah.
right? You're like, I'm gonna do my best to make sure everybody's having a good time and provide what I'm supposed to provide, and I want everybody to have fun, kids included. But just be, because that's like you said, safety aspect.
Right.
This kid can fall off. It's so easy to grab a hook, grab a lure,
Oh
grab
yeah.
anything, you know, and and get in a bind,
Yeah.
and
I mean, not that I'm a bad dad, right?
mhm,
But if I tell my little girl, "Hey, that's enough,"
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Dude, that's enough.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean? I
yeah.
mean, dude, for me to see a parent to not have control of their kid, bro.
That's the
I'm like,
hardest,
dude,
man.
what have you been doing all these
That's the
years? You know
hardest.
what I
And
mean?
there's nothing. I mean, everybody's different. You know that. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's different. Everybody does things different ways or whatever. And that's it. The thing is most of these people are like on vacation. They want to have fun. They want to let
Yeah.
loose. They want to don't. They don't want to worry about the kids. I just
Yeah.
want to go fish and have fun.
Right.
Well, you got the kids
Yeah.
still.
You can't just say,
I'm
"Hey,
not the
guess what?
baby. We're not the
I'm not a
babysitter.
parent this
Right.
weekend." You know what I mean?
Right. Right. I'll be
And you did your
driving.
research, bro.
Yeah.
If I say it every show. Everybody's like, "Oh, hell, this again," right? If I'm gonna go on a guided trip,
Hmm.
it's just not miraculously that I run across Captain Travis Thompson.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, uh,
You could probably Google me, but I won't
right. I
let you
see
get them.
Jesse
Oh
Torres,
yeah. Oh yeah.
right. I have to flip a coin between Jesse Torres, Jeremy Torres, and Travis
Yeah.
Thompson, right? I'm just kidding. All great guides as well, right? But I'm not just going through Google and wherever it stops, I'm picking that guide,
Right.
right?
Right.
I've already done my research. I've already done, okay, this is what's expected,
Hmm.
right? I might even come out on Facebook if I go with this guy, right? Dude, it's a big deal, bro.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not just
Nowadays,
everybody's just, hey, I want to go with Travis Thompson because it's a free for all.
right. Right.
No, dude.
Right.
It's
Right. There's certain guys specialize in things, right? Obviously, you got the big names, the Pedricks, the Rouseys, the goes like guys like
right.
that. They specialize in the trophy trout.
Yeah.
They have for a long time,
Yeah.
and they've got that. I'm not gonna say they've got the game sewn up because there's always somebody behind you, right?
Right.
There's always somebody to fill your shoes. There's always somebody to take over and be the next name.
Right.
I don't necessarily try to fit into a subcategory whatsoever,
Mhm.
necessarily. I don't try and say I specialize in this. Now, do I excel in some things? Yeah.
Right.
There's some guys that are specialize in wade fishing. They don't even know how to fish out of the boat. You know, but what I try to do is I try to be the best at what is available to me. So I get a lot of like, summertime clients and things like that are always, new guys, new guys, new guys, and kids. Here recently, I've been taking a lot of families and stuff like that. But if you want to jump out of the boat and wade with the best of them, we'll do it. You know what I mean? Like we'll do it. I don't have a single problem with it.
What kind of boat are you in?
I've got a 24 Mamba. I've got one of the new Mambas that just came
Why
out.
Mamba?
So I've been with Waypoint Marine for
Mamba only comes out of
10
Waypoint
years.
Marine.
As far as I know right now,
Okay.
yes, yes. I'm sure eventually they may branch out and
Yeah,
do
yeah.
some other stuff, but they're built right here in Corpus. They're custom built to your order.
You can
Uh,
only get them in Corpus.
yes,
Well,
you can
yeah,
order them from wherever.
Waypoint
Like
Marine's in Corpus,
there's a
right?
lot of guys here, you know, in Florida and stuff like that that'll order them. There's actually a pretty good following in Florida that's picking a bunch of them up, which is really good. Um, but you know, a lot of the tournament stuff, Jim and Jared Poole, they've built a boat that is
How much is a Mamba?
I mean, they're competing with some of the upper echelon of boats right
Like
now.
$100,000 boat?
Anywhere from 1 to 150, somewhere around there, 160,
Right.
depending on what you want to put on there. But you're not talking. I've ran shoal waters for years.
Mhm.
I probably had 10 shoal waters. I've had some Blazer Bays. I've got this Mamba, and I'll tell you, just the fit and finish on this boat, it's not like you see on manufacturer kind of a manufacturer line kind of boat. Not because you can build custom shoal waters. I've built a bunch of them, but just like I said, fit, finish, everything that they've got going on in these boats you can just tell just by looking at it, sitting in it, that it's a nicer, I won't say luxury, but performance built boat.
Well built boat.
Right, very well built boat. There's very sound things, you know.
Is the Mamba, and no disrespect to the Poole family
Mhm.
or any of them guys, but is the Mamba catered to the guides and tournament anglers? Or
So
can Ram Garcia go buy a Mamba?
Ram Garcia can buy a Mamba, and it depends on what fits your build sheet. Right. So
Oh,
if you want to go all out, they can go
right.
all out.
That's how I feel, dude.
Right.
You're gonna buy a boat, buy the best
If you're
damn boat
gonna
out.
spend $100,000, what's 120 grand? You know what I mean? And
Take it out of the
that's
401k.
kind of the
Guys,
way it works. It
the
don't
401k is gonna be there for the rest of your life.
right.
Might as well take a
If
little
you're
bit
gonna
out.
build the boat out, right, and you're gonna get a 250, get the 300.
Yeah.
It's the thing is,
You
like,
only gotta buy it once.
my biggest, and I've pushed it for years, like, I'm a client at the end of the day, no matter what. No matter where I go, I'm still a customer to somebody,
Right.
right? Minus the fishing part. But as far as boats go, I'm still a customer. And if I wasn't happy with something, I wouldn't be running it.
Mhm.
Right. So I've been with them for so long because of the things that they've taken care of for me, the boats that they built.
Saltwater and Blazer Bay come out of Waypoint Marine.
They do. Right.
Okay, so you're already, you know, the pools
Oh
and
yeah.
you know all them, right?
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. I've been close with them for, like I said, started out. I bought my first shoal water in 2014. It was a 21 cat, and I've been with them ever since. I've had, like I said, probably close to 10 shoal waters, and they're amazing boats. They're good boats, and you know, personally, I'm super proud of the Pool family, Mike Khalifi, everybody that's been working on this project for these new boats. And once it started rolling, everybody can kind of see it, and you go, okay, this is
This
kind
is
of
what.
what we got going on. This is real. You know, it's not just like a one-off boat, you know, whatever, yada yada
Yeah.
yada. These things are real, you know. And I'll tell you, I've never been a fan of V holes. I've always ran, like I said, shoal waters and stuff
Oh,
like that. I've been very shallow style of fishing, and they have a cat coming out. So a lot of people have already seen that. They actually came out this past couple weeks ago. They got the new cat out. It's a 24 cat. I'm running the 24 V, the VX, I believe is what it's called, with a 300R on it, and I kind of fell in love with it. It's comfortable. It's smooth.
that's an expensive boat,
It's
though.
expensive. It's high dollar, but
How
I mean,
much? If I want to go,
but what about, okay? If you're a kayaker, you know what I mean. We
right?
can go back and forth. You know,
Yeah.
if
If I
you're a
show up
kayaker,
at
5
Waypoint
grand.
Marine right now
Mm-hmm.
and I walk in there and they're trying to sell me some Alumacraft or something, right? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, dude, I want what Travis Thompson's got.
Yeah.
They're like, what? I was like, yeah. Are you a guide or something? No, dude. I just want what he's got.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
just got off a trip with him.
Mm-hmm.
How much is that boat?
Probably 140.
140.
Mm-hmm. Close to 130, 140, somewhere around there.
And
But that is, I'm talking everything you can think of on a boat. It's got it. It's not. There's no
it's ready
expense
to
spared.
rock and roll.
Zero expense
Because I've
spared.
heard some tournaments, just this past tournament, I think it was the Redfish series, that some of the guys were like, we're not launching yet.
Because it was so rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
But the
yeah.
Mambas were
Oh yeah. Yeah.
just
I mean,
cruising,
it, it
cruising out.
everybody has their safety standard, right? And that's
Right.
something that's real, and you shouldn't go out and stuff. That I saw the videos of the Legends launch, and it was smart of Chad and them to hold it back. They actually
Yeah,
held it
yeah,
back
yeah.
to 9 o'clock or whatever it was to just kind of let everything kind of at least line out. Still
Right.
gonna be windy, but at least that front blew in that night. And what that does, I've personally been in Mansfield and tried to make it back to Market 37 with that front blown in. I mean, that's probably the closest I've ever been to physically dying.
Oh wow.
Yeah, seriously. And it's just it's rowdy. But if you're in a 24-foot boat that is V hold or even cat hold, and you're comfortable with the situation that you're in, and you can run and you can get where you need to get, then that's a good boat.
Yeah.
Because I've been in plenty of boats, passenger or driver, and gone, okay, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
And that drive actually being one of those from Mansfield back to Market 37, we actually ran out of fuel in Bird Island. We didn't even make it. We didn't make it
Cito.
back. Yeah, Sito. Oh, Brandon would have been good back then. I
Cito.
don't know if he was around yet then, but uh, yeah, I mean, you got to be careful, man, and you got to be. And everybody has their budget.
Yeah.
Everybody
Oh yeah.
knows what they can and can't afford. I'm not by any means hating on the Blue Wave guys or
Right.
anything like that. Because I've
Yeah. At one point, everybody was in Blue
so
Wave.
what I was in.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine, Richard, he had a Blue Wave, and we fished the hell out of that
Yeah.
thing.
Some people probably still have their Blue Wave in the back of their house.
Nothing
Just
wrong with that, man. You go out
that's
and you catch fish and you have fun. That's what it's all
yeah.
about. You don't need somebody to take you. Even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. But this is, I don't know, right? I'm just a damn kayaker, bro. Right. I'm about to
Try not to
jump
run
into
you
the
over
over.
all the
I'm
time.
about to jump into the overtime right now,
Come
dude.
on.
I feel the guides,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm gonna go with Travis Thompson. When I show up to where do you launch at?
Market 37.
When I show up to Market 37, right? I jump out of the truck. I get greeted by Travis Thompson. Telling you, bro, I told you after that third Karbach, man. And I'm like, dude, let's go, man. I'm ready. I jump into that Mamba. I'm like, dude,
Mm-hmm.
this is
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
this is for real, man.
And it gives people.
That's why I say, is it catered to guides,
It's not necessarily catered to guys.
right?
And there's some stuff coming out that I can't really talk about yet.
Oh, don't talk about it, dude.
Because it's
Unless you want to
no,
just
no. There's some stuff that I can't talk about. I can't
heard
talk
it
about.
here on Spooled Life Live.
It's not my place to talk about it. But there is going to be some stuff that is catered to guides or the everyday person.
Right.
Right. Something that's going to be right along the lines with, say, a Shellwater or a Blazer or something like that.
Okay.
Pretty close to it.
Like a
right.
more economical type.
Not so much catered to that high performance. It's going to be a lot of the same stuff, but there's going to be different things about it as far as like cost effective things, right?
I got you.
You don't have to have the $6,000 worth of shockwave seats in the in the boat, or you don't have to have a $300, $400,
You could
or
always
whatever, right?
upgrade.
You can build it how you want, no matter what. And there's some things about, like, say, the new 24 Cat or the 24 VX that your cost is built in. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like they're built as a package. This is what you're going to get base price, right? This other one that's coming out is going to be more of a, okay, how do you want it to look kind of thing. We have our hull, right? But we're going to cater this to a more cost effective boat, something that's going
Right.
to be able to go out and get beat up and get torn up and get used every day, something like that.
Yeah.
That not to
Not
say
just
not to say that
once a
the other ones
month
don't,
or
because my boat's out there every day and it's still pretty and it's still flashy and it still looks good and everything
yeah.
else. But that's going to be more of that cost effective and everyday person friendly boat.
Yeah.
But it's coming. It should be coming soon.
It's amazing, bro.
It
Shout out to the Mamba group, right?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Jared Poole, Jim Poole, Michael Leafy, all those
One more
guys.
question. We're already an hour and a half, bro.
Let's
I'm
get
about
there.
to
Let's
jump
get there.
into
Yeah,
the
let's shut it down.
overtime. The overtime lane. We created the overtime. Austin Matthews just showed up. Better late than never.
He's late now, huh?
He's late today. Man, I hope he wins. Because if he's late and wins still,
Oh man,
dude, we need to get this guy a trophy.
we
Right?
already gave out the.
Sorry, man. We already gave out the swagger packer. I'm just kidding. We gone over baby trip, right?
Mm-hmm.
Safety on the water. Guide. Let's go over guiding, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a influx of guides.
Yeah.
You're a full blown guide,
Mm-hmm.
right? You gave up a career at Flint Hills.
Mm-hmm. Valero.
You gave up a career at Valero.
Mm-hmm.
You said one day, you know what?
It's time.
I'm going all in on
Yeah,
this.
jump in. Yeah. A lot of the guys that I fish with have kind of been in the same scenario. Jesse
Really?
being one of them.
Yeah.
Jesse's story is kind of similar.
Yeah.
Oil field rising up
Right.
and down. He just had to jump in.
Making a whole bunch of money out
Right.
there.
Yeah. It's hard. It's probably
Away from your family.
it's one of the toughest
Oil
things that
field,
I've
right?
had. Oh yeah. Yeah.
This
And even, I think what's harder about working at a plant versus working in the oil field, right? If you work in the oil field, excuse me, if you work in the oil field, you're going to be gone for your hitch, right?
right.
You don't plan on seeing or
Yeah.
you're going to be gone,
Yeah, you're
right?
gonna be in a
Wherever
van with a bunch
you're
of
going to be,
dudes.
yeah, don't worry about me. I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Right.
Most of them 2 weeks on, 1 week off kind of setup. And I think it's even worse having to work like say like a turnaround where you're
Yeah.
working 30, 40 something days straight,
Yeah, but you get to come home.
right? You're home every day,
Yeah.
right? But like let's say you're working nights, right?
Yeah.
And you and your family's they're just right there,
Yeah. You get home just enough to see them drive off
right? You're
to
just there.
work
You're just right
and
there.
school. Yeah.
So there's that for me, there was a big like kind of mental break. Like I could be there with them right now.
Yeah.
What can I do?
I was gonna try the oil field one time,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Yeah, we'll send a bus to pick you up." I was like, "What?
Oh
I don't
yeah,
get a vehicle or nothing?"
13 other guys pile in that van, sucker.
Like, no, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Hey, guys,
yeah.
I'm just saying, right? Oh, don't go delete the page because
Hey,
you're full blown
we
oil field,
we love the frack daddies.
right? They make a lot of money,
Yeah, they do.
right?
They
You
did it
gotta
for a
have
while.
goals, man.
Yeah.
If that's part of your goal plan, then all for it, right? But
Hmm.
shout out to all the oil field guys
Yeah,
out
man.
there.
Stay safe out
Follow,
there.
yeah, for sure. I've
Uh,
gone. What the heck was I doing? I don't know what the hell I was doing over there at the launch at 37, right?
mhm.
And they were kind of, I wouldn't say they were making fun of him, but you could tell there was
There's a little bit of
an
animosity
yeah, with this
throughout the Bay
guide
Area.
that showed up.
Hmm.
And he didn't have a real flashy boat or nothing, but he was out there getting it. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Is there that with the influx of guides
Oh yeah,
that aren't they are guides,
right,
right? They're full blown licensed guides.
right. The weekenders,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you want to call them. There's. I was that guy for.
Yeah, they're on their 4 days
I
off
was that
or
guy for
whatever,
8 years,
Yeah,
9 years.
that's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not.
There's nothing wrong with that, and they should be
But when they
respected.
get in the way of a full blown guide,
No, there's no such thing.
no,
I don't care who you are.
like even if they show up at your spot,
That's different.
oh,
It's a little bit different.
right,
You're right. So as far as I'm concerned, fishing is fishing. If as far as like we'll say pot licking, we'll just go ahead and say pot licking is the thing.
right.
Nowadays there's so many people on the water. It's exhausting.
Is
It's
there so many people or is there so many guides?
both.
Right.
There's some spots where you'll go and okay, drum fishing primarily. Right. You run into a school of drum and there's 5 guys sitting on it right now.
Mhm.
And there's probably 90% of those guys are guides. And you can tell who the guides are. I'm one of them most sometimes, depending on what we're doing. Um, is it disrespectful to pull up in there and try and get some fish with it? No, it's not. It's not.
Oh, really?
It's not disrespectful. No, it's not. You can,
How close are we at this point?
I'm talking. If you don't know somebody, obviously keep your distance and
Yeah.
try and like get in where you kind of get
Yeah,
in,
I got you
right?
now.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But like myself,
But you have a
several other.
crew of friends.
Yeah, I've got some guys that are close to me, and I got guys that I work with.
Like you're gonna holler at Jesse and be like, "Hey, guess what, dude?
Yeah,
My client wants some drum.
yeah,
Hey, we're on the drum.
absolutely.
Come on by,
I
dude."
got I got a group of 5, 6
Yeah,
guys that I
yeah,
network with,
yeah.
and I got 5 or 6 guys that I'm really good friends with.
But you got a few guys that you do not network,
There's a few, and it's
right?
not necessarily for any reason whatsoever. I'm always about helping somebody.
Yeah,
If somebody calls me and says, "Hey, I need a big trout spot. I saw y'all were catching some last week." I'm gonna say, "All right," you know.
yeah,
I'm not expecting anything out of it,
yeah.
but I'm
You're
gonna
not
say,
gonna give them coordinates or
right,
nothing. You're gonna be like just this general
so
area.
m-
You do the rest.
me personally, right? Like I'll give you a spot, right, and say, look, this is kind of how we've been catching them. The rest is up to you. That's not saying that somebody else is going to catch those fish by any
Right.
means, because I've had plenty of clients and friends and other very good anglers standing from me to you, throwing lures, and one of us is catching them
Yeah.
left and right. Like What are you doing? I'm throwing the same thing you're throwing.
Yeah, they're probably
You
throwing
know,
it down south. Or
So
something.
so like something like that has given me the confidence in saying like, you know what, if that guy right there is going to take enough time to sit here and watch me catch these fish and watch me do this stuff, if he can come in here and catch them like I am, then you can have it too. It's not a big deal.
Right.
You know, what I mean, I've got more than enough spots to go and find fish at.
Yeah.
Now, if it's something I've been, really practicing on and really using, and it's one of my main deals, and this guy was here yesterday and yada yada yada, I'm not gonna go. I'm not even gonna go as far as saying, "Hey, get out of my spot" or whatever like that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna say, okay, little mental note.
Because there's guys like that.
Absolutely, there's guys that'll sit there and do donuts around you
Oh
if
wow,
you pull up
dude.
to their spot or get too close to them or whatever. I've never been that guy. I'm not a confrontational person really
I
as
heard
far
a
as
story
fishing
the
goes.
other day that there was a guy that, and guys, we're not here to ruin somebody or put somebody out of business, but there was a story going around that there was a guide saying, "Hey, get out of here, man. I'm in a tournament." Well, not a guide, but a tournament angler. I'm in a tournament, dude. So get out of here. You got to be within 100 yards from me.
Nah,
And then the guy that he was telling that to was like, "Hey, I ain't even in a tournament, bro."
I don't care what you're in. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. No, in that circumstance, whatever. I'm not gonna. Certain tournaments have certain rules,
Yeah.
and that being you cannot be within 100 yards of some other boat.
Yeah, but that's not just everybody.
Right. Right.
That's just not just
That's
your
not
random guy out
that's
there.
not anybody else other than other tournament anglers and stuff like that in the rules.
Yeah.
What is that? You're going to drag that guy back to the tournament and say, "Hey, this guy is the one who was next to
Dude.
me." No, I mean, there's nothing really you can do about that. And 100 yards isn't anything for
Yeah.
for fishing.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I hate it, dude. I'm just kidding,
The
right?
crowd. What?
I mean, if I'm rolling, I'm there. Man, I hope I don't let out all my secrets, right? But I'm there super early, bro.
Yeah,
I want to be there early.
yeah.
Like if my first cast is at 6,
Hmm.
dude, I'm ready.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
4 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
I'm ready to go,
Hmm.
dude. So I could see why if I'm ready at 4 in the morning, I'm waiting for 6 o'clock, and Travis Thompson rolls up on me. I'm like, dude.
That's your spot, bro. That's your spot, dude.
I'm like, dude, I've been here since.
Nah, man, that's your spot. I'm not gonna roll up on you
No,
like
I'm
that.
just
Yeah, I
saying.
know. No, I'm
I know
saying
you,
it just,
but
just, just
I could see why somebody
ethically,
would get mad about
right?
it. You know,
You shouldn't get mad about it. And in reality, if you're,
you're just a great person, bro.
I'm, I wouldn't even,
Happy
I
Easter,
don't
man.
know about that,
I hope
man.
you're not just like this because of Easter,
No,
man.
no, no.
No,
I
all right.
swear, like there's a lot of guys that would probably raise hell.
Oh yeah,
A lot,
dude.
you know.
I heard a story that there was like I want to say 100 yards, but that's close, man, for boats,
Yeah, 100 yards is pretty close. If you're wade fishing or if you're boat fishing like
right?
that, it
Like they
depends
were
on.
getting off the
It
boat
really
to
depends on the
wade.
situation. If you're 100 yards behind me and you jump out to start wading, I'm probably gonna go, "Hey, what the hell? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
You're behind me. I don't really care. But if you cut me off 100 yards and jump
yeah.
in,
Like you see the guy going that way, and you're like,
I'm probably gonna walk up around you.
yeah, that's what this
You
guy
know,
did. The
yeah,
guy jumped on the boat
yeah, that's
and
too far.
drank one of his beers.
Yeah, that's a
And
little far. I mean, he's not hurting anything necessarily, but it's a little far.
uh-huh.
I'm not gonna go as far as going and get into a fight or something because I'll tell you, if somebody goes and jumps on my boat, I'm heading back to the boat and we're gonna have some words.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, and there's just a
that's against the law, right? Is it?
I don't know. I don't know if he,
If you
if
go
it's
jump in somebody's car,
invasion of privacy or whatever.
that's against the law. If you,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's against the law, but that's I would think so. First person to tell me when Baby Trip's birthday is,
Ooh, let's
they're
see
gonna
who is
send you a
listening.
swagger packer,
We
guys.
said it. We said it.
First person, Baby Trip's birthday. I bet you Baby Trip's just excited for you. What's gonna be in his Easter basket? I hope he's not listening.
Man, that dude's freaking spoiled, dude. He's
Is he?
spoiled rotten. Yeah.
He probably has everything he
And
needs.
me and his mom were
Definitely.
going and looking for stuff and whatever. And she goes, "What are you getting from Easter?" I said, "Some chocolate? Like, I don't know. Nothing really. I don't know. It's
yeah,
just to get him in a little Easter basket. Whatever you find in the eggs is what you get, bro.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. No, no,
Unless
no,
you find
no.
the golden egg.
You're right. Golden eggs like $5.
That's the one I'm looking
We
for.
threw
If I roll up on a colored egg,
I
nah,
don't
dude.
need the Tootsie Roll.
Yeah, I don't
I
need
don't need
that. I
that.
don't
I'm
need
looking for that gold
this
one.
all melted
Yeah.
Snicker already, right? I want that golden egg.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking for that
You know
golden
what I'm
egg.
talking
Oh,
about?
yeah. The one that's hidden over there in the cat's bowl behind him.
8/5/2020.
Dang,
that it?
somebody got it.
Jason. Whoa, hold on.
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
Well, yeah, I think it counts still. I think it counts still. What do you see right here? Nancy Martinez, 8/25/2020, right?
Yeah,
That's the first one,
that's the
Carlos.
first one.
I saw Carlos's name and I got all excited. Right?
Damn.
Nancy Martinez,
Congrats.
8/25/2020.
Good listening. That was good.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good paying attention.
quick, man.
Yeah,
Right?
that didn't take
Nancy
any time.
Martinez, you're the winner. Slide into my DMs. You got 24 hours. But we're gonna pick the next winner. August 25th.
Hmm.
That doesn't count. No year. Does it? You
It depends on how specific you want to make.
man, you're
I would go full August,
Okay.
the whole thing. I tried to say it pretty clear.
Cole Bendel is out of the yeah.
Oh, Cole, yeah, he's already got a. he's
JC
already got plenty of
Gonzalez is
stuff.
next, 8/25/2020. If Nancy Martinez does not win, if she doesn't message me in 24 hours, JC Gonzalez, you're second place.
Perfect.
Right. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. What else, man? Let's what's next for Travis Thompson?
Man.
Captain. Do you get mad when people don't call you captain?
No,
No, people
man.
do, man.
Yeah, there's some guys that are real entitled. I'm not. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you notice that I asked you?
Yeah.
Hey, do you want captain in front?
No.
I've had a couple guys. Hey,
You gotta say captain.
yeah, put
No,
captain in
man.
front of my name.
No, that's silly. It's silly. I mean, people aren't here because of my title. They're here because they enjoy fishing with me and
dude.
stuff like that. And if that's how they know me, then that's how they know
Yeah.
me. You know.
I like that.
You know.
Shout out to that, man.
Yeah, sure. I'm a person just like everybody else. You know. People shouldn't glorify um, something that is so normal for us. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people say like, "Oh, he's a captain. He's a." Well,
We're just
we're
human,
people
dude.
too. You know, whatever. We're people too. No, I'm not saying like that. Like, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
I'm doing what is expected of me. You're right, and I have to put in my work and my everything.
Right.
If I excel and you think I excel at it, then that's great.
That's like me going to the doctor.
Absolutely.
Dude, I'm paying you, doctor.
Right. You better be a good doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me your first name. I'm gonna call you by that.
Right. Right. And if
I
you
don't
get
have
to know
call
him,
you
right,
doctor.
Doctor so and so, exactly. Right.
Dr. Garcia.
It's the same thing.
Right.
Right.
Unless you got a ticket or something, and you're like in front of a judge,
Oh, my
right?
name's
Then that's
Doctor so and
different,
so,
right?
right? Where I gotta throw it out there.
Right. That's different. I could see that.
Yeah.
Right. What's next for Travis Thompson?
No, man, we got so we're building the crane hunting stuff. The big waterfowl stuff is gonna be our next really big push. We're kind of expanding north a little bit just because a lot of our cranes and stuff like that, the big population's West Texas.
Okay.
I don't care to be anywhere around there just because it's so kind of washed out. There's so many people, there's so many guys, there's so many people there. But we did get some pretty good ranch deals between here, Pearsall, Dilley, San Antonio area. We got some big ranches, exotic stuff like that we're actually gonna be working with um, for big groups like corporate groups and stuff like that, like we do with the fish. And we'll get groups of where we need 7, 8, 9, 10 boats sometimes.
Mhm.
So we've got some stuff working there. We'll see how that plays out this winter because the crane hunting thing's growing slowly but surely. Down here, it wasn't really recognized too much, and
Yeah.
now it's starting to get that way. And you know, as fortunate as we are, we're kind of a niche group right here as far as crane hunting. Like this isn't a known crane hunting area. So we're working on it. We're trying to build it. We're trying to build everything up, and that's our next move. End goal is going to be a lodge,
Oh yeah.
like Habitat Flats, something like
Your
that.
own.
Our own lodge.
Oh wow.
Right. And it's not necessarily going to be something on the water because it's going to be too far from where we hunt.
Right.
You know, so I want to try and find something that's kind of in that middle ground where you can bring the family out,
Right.
have a good time, shoot clays, go shoot deer, go shoot cranes, and you're, say 10, 15 minutes from the water,
Right.
the whole 9 yards. And that's really our next big push. We're going to be building that quite a bit. I've got a few different boats coming we're going to be doing some flounder gigging. We're going to be doing some offshore stuff. We're going to be try and build a variety of different options for clients,
Mhm.
just because, we're all about making memories and having fun. And You know, if it looks nice outside one day, and I might say, hey, rather than going and sweating all day and maybe catch a few redfish, y'all want to take the bigger boat and go offshore?
Oh
Hell
yeah.
yeah, you know, stuff like that. Or
Like a full service.
yeah, you know, we want to do everything, you know,
Yeah.
and not just, it doesn't cater to just corporate clientele.
Right.
You know, we can have multiple groups. What we're looking at, we're going to have multiple groups coming and staying and just give them the full, more of an inclusive package
Mhm.
versus going and staying at the Motel 6, going fishing, here's your fish, and yeah, you know,
Right.
something like that. So we don't have anything like that really down here. Baffin Bay Rod and Gun,
Yeah.
stuff like that's kind of the closest one.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily want to impede on that area too much because I don't need that area too much. We spend a lot of time, most of our time up here. So we're working on finding something close and close to town. You know, the wife
Mhm.
comes down, whatever wants to go,
Yeah.
doesn't care to go fishing for 3 days straight. She can go, you know, it's close enough to town where they can go and do stuff like that. So trying to get it centralized yet not in all the stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
So
for sure. Where can we find your media?
oh, I don't have any website stuff. Like I said, I don't do a whole lot of social stuff, but Captain Travis Thompson, um, Instagram. I've got Captain Travis Thompson Facebook. And I don't look at the Captain Travis Thompson Facebook too much, just my normal Facebook.
TikToker?
A little bit.
Snapchatter?
Little bit. Not
Right.
not too much. I'll go like a week or two with it.
Where can somebody book a guided trip?
Most of it's my phone number,
Okay.
361-815-5191.
There you go.
That's
Somebody
it.
tag it on there
Yeah.
in the comments. Guys, it's been a hell of a show. If y'all haven't yet bought y'all's Easter baskets, it's still not too late.
Come on over here to Roy's. Go
Eckert's
get you
has
a
a whole
couple,
bunch of them. They're
get
probably
you a
on
couple
sale
top
right now.
waters.
Right.
Yeah.
You're probably going to get like a bunch of like you're probably going to get a Snickers bar that doesn't have like the Snickers logo on.
Oh yeah.
It's probably called like chocolate.
Snickers.
Chocolate bar or something like that. It's all right, though. It's been a hell of a show,
Hell
man.
yeah,
Thank you
man.
so much. Do
Yeah,
you have
absolutely.
anything else for us?
No, that's it, man.
Right.
Yeah, we're just moving forward and trying
Right.
to have a good time doing it.
You know what? Let's give away a Sandhill.
One day, one
You
day.
see what happens when we jump into the overtime,
let's
right?
do it. Let's do it next year. Next year, I'll be okay to give one away.
Guys, it's been a hell of a show. Like I said, the next flyer will come out here, I want to say by the midweek next week. We got another hell of a show lined up. It's going to be tough.
Who you got next week? Oh, you can't say it. You can't say it right. You can't say it right.
Say it. We might give away something for sure.
Like,
Right?
yeah.
Enjoy y'all's Easter. Spend it with some family, spend it with some friends. Don't forget what it's about, right? Don't go burn up y'all's brisket or anything like that. You
Ooh,
know,
no.
put at least $5 in that golden egg. Everybody's looking for it. I want to give a shout out to the show sponsors, Roy's Bait and Tackle, Sarge Custom Rods, AFTCO, Marshwork Clothing, Down South Lures, Tow Corpus Christi, Karbach Brewery, and New Canoe Kayaks. We'll see y'all next time.